Welcome to Emancipated Studio. Welcome my uncle, Uncle Stu, the old man on the block.
Salute, 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 salute. I tell you, we are going to have an awesome time tonight over here in the Emancipated Studio. We got celebrations, we got praises, we got a party. We are going to be international because we're going to recognize international people. We're going to recognize national people, and we are going to keep it hot and heavy in here tonight. So before we go, let me give a big shout out to the one and only Robert H., formerly known as Matt from Tender, my brother, Vaughn Bryant, the super actor in the house. And as you know, he got his own show. Sir Hill Speaks is in the building and always keeping the money going and the money flowing. The one and only, the intentional millionaire. And of course, you know, we got Brown Eyes in the house. And I want to also recognize the voice that y'all will hear hopefully sometime next week. So if you want to talk about that smooth voice, that New York vibe feel, give it up for my brother, Chef Shapino in the house. So ladies and gentlemen, I want everybody. Oh, wait. I knew I was getting ready to miss the one and only, the young lady, Miss Mills is in the house. Yes. Listen, I want everybody to do me a favor. I am about to drop a link, and the link that I'm about to drop is a woman who is in the UK. Her YouTube page is the Anti-Associate. She is better known in the American YouTube streets. My niece is in the house. I am Courtney Michelle. And Vantita 16 is in the house. And Kenya is in the house. I'm about to drop this lady's link. I want y'all to do me a favor. She is 8 subscribers away from 1,000. She is known as Lady A on these YouTube streets. She is a big advocate and supporter of a lot of things that go on here in America, mostly in the manosphere. If you want to call it, she's my mature Jessica X. So I'm about to drop a link. What I want is at least 8 people to go subscribe to her channel. And I want you to do me a favor. When you subscribe, put a note over there and say, Uncle Stu sent us from the USA, and get her over 1,000. She only has 8 more subscribers to get. So I want us to understand that we got to be about something. And why we got to be about something? Because we're going to let people know that here in America, we are not lazy. That here in America, we get the job done. That here in America, we are the one. That here in America, we don't talk about it, we be about it. So can y'all just at least take a few seconds, just tap her YouTube page, go subscribe if you're not subscribed, and just let her know Uncle Stu's nieces and nephews sent her. I want to know that at the end of this stream, she is over 1,000, and that the United States of America got her over it. So come on, let's support her, because trust and believe, she's always either in my chat, she's always in other people's chats, and she is all the way in the UK, and we need to recognize it. All right. Meanwhile, let me give a big shout out. Now I'm like TLA. Now y'all be having these names. Y'all know I'm old, can't be pronouncing something. So if I pronounce it wrong, don't beat me up, please. Shakia. I hope I got it right. All right, let's give a big shout out to Shakia. And let me see, did I miss anybody? I hope that I got everybody. All right. And then we got the one and the only, the most and second wealthiest man in the United States who has such a humble beginning. Very unlikely is in the house. Salute, salute. We are no longer going to hold this up. So, ladies and gentlemen, when I am Courtney Michelle needed her homegirl to try to run around the world, she called this woman. And when TLA was getting ready to get into it with Tasha K, he called this woman. And when it was time for all the twins to get together, Brown Eyes had to call this woman. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know that I had to call this woman. So, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Lauren Melissa.
Hi, what an introduction. Oh my gosh.
So how are you? How are you? How are you?
Man, I am doing well. I'm really glad to be here. Finally made it onto Uncle Stu's channel and about to have this conversation. I'm
We're
excited
gonna have
to be
this
here.
conversation. I tell you, because everybody don't know. It's like by the time I was trying to reach out to you, you was in one state. Then you ran and got into another state.
Yeah.
Then I was like, well, you got to give her time to unpack, y'all. But, you know, it was like, she still got boxes. Yeah. She had to go from one place, another time zone. But see, you get to hang out with Vaughn now because Vaughn, you know, he that wealthy brother that just be sitting back on the beach. You know, can't tell him nothing. Yeah. When he talks to me, he be like, Uncle Stu, I got to get my tea. You know, we got the California tea. Y'all don't know nothing about California tea. You know, so I can't say nothing.
Yeah.
You know, I can't say nothing. So how is your day going?
Listen, I'm just glad the work day is over. Work, y'all, I wish YouTube was my full-time job. Continue to support, subscribe, and do all that so I can make it my full-time job. But I do have a day job and, you know, work was good today. I'm glad that it's over. Looking forward to the weekend. I feel like I say that every week. But yeah, if y'all wondering what I do by day, I'm a program manager. So I just, you know, make sure projects go off without a hitch. So yeah,
You know, it's funny. I'm gonna tell you what's real funny. Uncle Stu seems to be surrounded. Now I'm gonna use this word because I am one. I'm surrounded by all you geeks, and I'm the nerd. I got engineers around me from before the billions. You know, then your girl is in the tech industry, which is, you know, TSU in the house. You know, so you got to give TSU her credit. Then I got Intangible Millionaire. He's an engineer. Then I hang out with Wealth Engineer. He's in it. It's like, boy, I don't know why they hang out with this old man. I couldn't put two wires together. You know, sure they don't show me this long math formula. I'm gonna be lost.
listen, kudos to people who do that, engineering and all that stuff. Yes, I used to be in the numbers game, but now more administrative. So shout out to everybody who can commit and do all that tech and mathy stuff. Yeah,
So,
y'all do that.
how did you get into the tech field?
Well, so I'm really not in tech. It's more education, but in terms of making sure projects go off without a hitch, we work with school districts across the US. But my career started in higher ed. So I didn't necessarily go into the nonprofit world off rip. I started working at a university and did that for about 10 years and then moved on from that to work in a nonprofit sector to kind of like move away from like student interaction and working more on shifting adult behavior to then impact students. So a lot of jargon, but we do a lot of work with like adults and how to change their mindsets and shifting beliefs that they were, you know, kind of brought up to believe to help improve the education for our children. So,
you know, we definitely need to talk about that tonight.
yeah.
because one of the struggles that I have is I worked in education as well. I've and then I deal with people offline. Everybody think this is my only one, but it's that shifting minds. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I struggle with or try to get my head wrapped around is shifting minds online versus
Mm-hmm.
shifting minds offline. And I don't want to necessarily say they're two polar opposite worlds, because some of the topics that, let's say, I deal with online,
Mm-hmm.
also talk to my 20 somethings that's offline. So I know there is a parallel in that dual world. Like, oh, okay, yeah, they really dealing with this,
Yeah.
offline as well as online. But it's that shifting mind. From your experience so far, and from your background,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say is affecting the lack of the shifting of the mind, or what do you think is impeding the shifting of the mind?
Well, people don't like change, right? So anytime you kind of present them with a different perspective, a different view, it's it's instantly met with resistance. And that's with anything, with any topic, anything that if it doesn't align with what you knew and what you've been raised to believe,
Mhm.
you are automatically in defensive mode of trying to protect what you know versus abandoning that thought process of saying, okay, yes, this is what I know, but perhaps this is something I can either learn or that can either shift my thinking. So we don't ask the question why enough. Like,
Mm,
why do we believe this, or why is it this way? We don't interrogate things. We kind of just take it as it's presented to us in
mhm,
whatever way it's delivered to us, right? So
mhm.
you talk about the online world versus the real world. And in the real world, yeah, you can have all the conversations you want, but the reality is the online space has always been to present yourself, present your representative, present beliefs or thoughts that are going to get more clicks and views. I mean, we can date this all the way back to MySpace days, or in the early Facebook days. You
Mhm.
only put online what you wanted people to see, and no one's
Mm.
going to post things that won't get recognized. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So we never really moved away from that, though. We're starting to see a shift where people are starting to long for authenticity. They're starting to long for more authentic conversations where you see people as real people versus you seeing people as product pushers, if you will, right? Where
Mm.
they put on this face. So I think it's starting to shift, but that it's not all the way there yet. You can have more real conversations in the real world, but when you come online, there's all of this red tape that's not necessarily red. It's invisible, but
Right.
invisible red tape that
Right.
you have
Right.
to be cautious of, in addition to making sure you don't reveal enough because people are crazy. Like people,
Mhm.
it's
Right.
crazy people. So there's just a lot of consideration that has to happen on on online, the virtual space versus in the real space.
It's I'm glad that you said what you said, because in all honesty, that's exactly what this platform is all about.
Mhm.
It's about having the authentic conversation. It's not about the talking points.
Mhm.
It's about who is the real person. What has the real person went through? Because I feel too many times people have a concept of people, but they don't have a reality of that person.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, people fantasize of the concept of Lauren, but they don't have a clue who the heck you are.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, she smiled, and in the back you might be having a bat ready to kill somebody.
No, for real. It's
But we have these concepts, but no reality.
mhm.
Um, what is it that you would say? If I had to do one of them trivia questions, what is something that is about Lauren that people really don't know, that Lauren really either never shared or never had the platform to really breathe and say, this is the real me. These are my real fears. These are my real issues that I can't necessarily share on other platforms because it wasn't really created for me to be me.
Well, see, that's the thing. I never really waited for a platform to be available to me. Um, And I think that's what people like about my channel or like about me is the fact that I am authentic and I am real. And what I put out there is really what you see. Like, I mean, it's been said to me a few times, like when we get Lauren, we don't know what she gonna say. Like, cause I always kind of keep it real. Like it's people where when they come on your platform, you kind of know their angle, you know what they're gonna do or say. But for me, it's like, well, she said something one week and then she said something another week. So I wonder what she's gonna say this week, kind of thing. Like, so people don't know, which is
Right.
how I like it. But to your point about like how did I like find that space to kind of be me? I really started on Instagram, honestly. So
Okay.
Instagram was really my space, and it kind of still is. I rock with Instagram more than I do YouTube, if I'm honest. But
Okay.
I started on Instagram just going live randomly, and then when I started going live, I was like, okay, let me do lunch with Lauren. And this was like around the time of pandemic, during the pandemic, where we were not having the water cooler talks at work. We weren't with our coworkers, and I longed for that interaction. I'm an extrovert / introvert in a way, so I
Okay.
wanted to like have that conversation. And then I birthed lunch with Lauren on Instagram,
Okay.
and it started off really small, like just 5 people came, 10 people. Then all of a sudden it grew, and people were like asking, what's this week? Is it coming on this week? Like people were looking forward to just hearing my thoughts on certain things. And
Right.
I mean, it was anywhere for me, like reviewing TV shows, talking about what's going on, my thoughts, opinions. And I didn't have a care in the world who saw it, who shared it, what people said, whatever.
Right.
Then Anton came on one day and on my lunch with Lauren, and that's
Right.
kind of how everything kind of started.
Okay.
He was really intrigued at like the conversations and who I had on my Instagram, and that's when he invited me to his channel. I've always had a YouTube channel per se, but it was just vlogs, so I didn't necessarily put everything out on YouTube. One, because I think YouTube is completely different. I think a few other people said it on a different show on my channel. Like YouTube is a whole nother world. And so when you think about it, I think I'm not even 6, 8 months in, maybe I'm not even a year into being on YouTube. And I kind of grew really quickly and just in terms of getting the subscribers, the watch hours, and that is really scary, you know.
Right.
So yeah, to answer your question, I created my own space on my Instagram page and then took the leap / risk to bring
Right.
it to YouTube. And I mean, it's been a great risk. I'm glad I took it.
When you talk about the two environments, the YouTube world and the Instagram world, um, how would you say the Instagram world is versus the YouTube world? Because now we're dealing with two different social media type
Yeah.
platforms.
In a way, Instagram, you can kind of see who it is. You can make your page private. You don't, everything's not public. Like my page is public, but if I wanted to, I can make it private. I can always, like, there's a close friend. So if I only want certain people to see certain things, you'll add them to that group. And then there was also like a level of like, I know majority of the people that I follow.
Mhm.
So I'm seeing people that I know versus YouTube. You're consuming what YouTube tells you to consume, essentially. Like when you get to that landing page, you're looking at videos that you hadn't even subscribed to. They're just showing you like, hey, you want to watch this kind of thing. Um, Instagram is kind of getting there and people are crying about it. But that is really what attracted me to Instagram, is that there's this closeness. Like I know the people that follow me, the people who watch Lunch with Lauren, they're people that I knew and people
Right.
that enjoyed the content versus YouTube. I think you can hide a little bit more, hide behind the name, hide behind the avatar or picture. You can make multiple YouTube channels. You can make multiple pages on Instagram too. But again, it's easier to tell if it's a troll or a scammer on Instagram. Like here, there's no way for you to really see the backtracking is really hard to do on YouTube, like to go down a rabbit hole.
Right.
On Instagram, they used to tell everything, right? You go to the whatever page and you could see what pictures you liked. Like, so you can kind of see who a person is based on what they liked. So again, if you're like a investigator like me, you can kind of tell who's who on
Right.
Instagram than you can on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. And shout out to Anton Dan. A lot of people don't realize how human, and I use that word very strongly, how human Anton can be,
Mhm.
when you talk to him in backstages and back channels. So that really led you to being on a Lapeef show.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna tell you, this is me being the consumer. It was always funny to see you on a Lapeef show because all we got to see was a smile. We rarely heard you talk.
Yeah.
Courtney was the champion. She was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, Courtney, yeah,
And another thing, and another
yeah,
thing.
tell it, girl." But it was real funny because it's like, does she really talk? Then when you do, you might say something about a minute while everybody else got the whole platform. But then when we got to watch you on your platform, it was like, wow, she actually can speak whole paragraphs.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I saw comments like, what does Lauren do? Somebody said, is she deaf? And I'm like, deaf doesn't mean I don't talk, but I think they meant to say, am I a mute? Because I didn't say
Right.
anything. And it wasn't that I didn't say anything or I didn't have anything to say, but part of me, just who I am, I'm a listener, right? And what I'm not like, I'm also a person who listens to different perspectives, right? I'm not one of those people who is just like, this is what I believe and that's it. And you got to believe what I believe. No, I'm going to listen. So yeah, I did listen to what everybody else had to say. And then when it got quiet or it was my time to speak, then I spoke. If I didn't have anything to say, I just wouldn't say anything. One, because, you just, I'm careful with what I say, or not even careful, but you just are mindful. I would be reckless if I just opened up my mouth just to talk and have airtime. And I know people wanted that, but that just wasn't me. But let me be clear, that was not the result of my demise or the reason why I left or anything like that. So
Right.
it was not that at all. But if you look at the platform or you look at the panel, like everybody has their role, right? And in some way, that was what I embraced. Like
Right.
everybody didn't know what I was going to say. It's like, oh, is Lauren going to talk? Okay, she's talking. What is she going to say? Like it created this mysteriousness, which it kind of worked in my favor, right? If I got the channel, people were like, what is she going to say? Is she going to talk? I mean, it created this anticipation, if you will.
Right. Right. And with that anticipation now transforming over to your own platform and panel, how has it been?
It's been great. It's been great. I have the ability to kind of experiment with a lot of different things. I had a lot of different shows, a lot of different topics. And I like to think of my channel as like entering into my thoughts, right? The
Okay.
topics that I talk about are actual thoughts that I have. I don't necessarily jump on the bandwagon and talk about a certain thing because everybody's talking about it, right? Like just because everybody was talking about Tasha K, I wasn't gonna make a video about Tasha K.
I didn't.
I only talk about things that I care about, right? Like,
Right.
I mean, if I don't have anything to say on a topic, I just won't talk about it. And that's what I like about just being a content creator is, yes, as a content, you have some content creators that are like, I need to talk about what's in demand, what people are talking about. I want to be in the know, in the algorithms, all of that. But for me, if you're looking for someone authentic, if you're looking for like that authentic conversation, and I want to, just be a part of some realness, if you will,
Right.
that's me. So to that end, like if I have something to say, I'll go live. If I don't, you'll get a lunch with Lauren. That's about it.
Well, last year, because I had my YouTube page for, I think it's going on 5 to 6 months. And the conversations last year, it was like, I kind of refused to have them this year.
Yeah.
But if you don't mind, I want to take you back to last year. I'm
Yeah.
going to say last year was the year of every single issue dealing with men and women. Every single issue dealing with dating and mating. Every single issue dealing with marriage. It's a funny thing when I say in the manosphere for me is basically because I want to develop men, I want to educate men, I want them to be a better version of themselves for themselves, and then for that one. But I also say I'm also here to speak to women as well and kind of educate women on how to love the man that they want to be with. Because I feel sometimes it's a language communication versus everything else.
Right.
Um, let's take you back.
Okay.
What did you really think about last year? The conversations. What have you learned from all of this conversations back and forth stuff, and versus what maybe your real life experiences may have been?
Yeah. So, I mean, there was a lot of men versus women and relationship talk. And a lot of that is necessary, but it's not necessary at the same time, right? Like there's a clear difference between men and women, and it needs to be talked about, but it's an overload, right? So that means everybody don't have to talk about it. You can join you can join somebody else's panel or whatever and have the conversation, fine.
Right.
For me, it was I began to look at the root. Like it's not even about gender. It's not gender wars. Is we don't even know how to be human. We don't even know how to be good people. So at the heart of it,
Mm,
how do we become better? How do we better ourselves? If the issue is I'm not married and I want to be, what's at the root? Is it dating? Okay, let's talk about dating. What's up? Why? Let's unpack this, right? So I'm looking at while I'm not necessarily talking about like for example mental health and then saying this is where you get help and why we don't get help, like no, go at the root. Do you have issues at work? Let's talk about work trauma, workplace trauma. Let's talk about the things that are triggering the depression or
right.
triggering the things that are taking place. So for me my frustration is in dating. Like, do I have a desire to be married? Yes. Is it
Mhm.
beneficial for me to engage in men versus women and what women should do, what men should do? Not really, but I really want to understand the context of dating in the modern society in today. So if you look at some of the videos that I have, yeah, they're about dating because that's my current situation. That's my current circumstance that I'm in, right? Like I'm in this
Okay.
dating phase. So we're gonna
Right.
talk about it. We're gonna talk about the frustrations that I'm experiencing or whatever.
Right.
Um, now if once I'm in a relationship, my conversations may change. Okay, when do you start having hard conversations? Blah blah. Just it kind of ebbs and flows in my life, and that's why like when I think about my channel, it did start off with vlogs because you're kind of getting an idea, a glimpse into my life, and in some way, you still are getting a glimpse by way of the conversations that I'm having on my channel. So
Right.
if you're ever wondering what's going on in Lauren's life, go look at the last video and be like, oh, she's frustrated with dating. Like,
Right.
you can kind of make your own assumptions based on the conversations that I'm having. But again, if I feel like the conversation doesn't serve me, then I won't have them.
I like that. Salute to Tough Love, Pops. Let's see. I know I missed some people. Candid Ann is in the house. Lou Casey is in the house. Princess K is in the house. Tops Love, Sofa King is in the house. And the Intentional Millionaire is in the house. What would you say is, let's say, the issue with dating? Because when I'm looking at you, and again, I'm coming from the real Dana. Everybody, I'm gonna let y'all know y'all can beat me up. It was Uncle Stu that was supposed to be on the real Dana show, and I totally tobaccoed the dates, so I lost out on being on her with Judge Joe Brown. But she shows me love and grace, so thank you, real Dana Dane. So I'm admitting, see, a man can't admit his faults. She's the only one that can talk to me a certain kind of way. She's from Jersey. I'm from New York. So we got this tri-state thing going on. So, hopefully I can get back in her grace and get on the show on the platform. That's my hint, hint, clue, clue. When I say, how's that dating aspect? Let's take away all of the talking points,
Right.
because I don't fit all the talking points. I like to have the real deep dive conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You're an African American young woman.
Mm-hmm.
To my knowledge, you have no children.
Mm-mm.
You're educated. You can actually orally say a full complete sentence.
Right.
Your thought process. You're now a quote unquote public figure. Is it a struggle now that you're a public figure? or is it a struggle because now you've moved from the state that you was in to California? What's that whole, give us the your version of what that dynamic is.
Yeah. It's difficult because I went from one terrible state to another terrible state in terms of like dating. Dating in LA is not hot, it's not popping, it's not where it's at. Neither was Michigan, if I'm honest.
Okay.
So I didn't necessarily move to a state that, was great for dating per se,
Okay.
but I don't think it's impossible. So I'm not necessarily banking my chances on location, though it helps. It's
Right.
more so the willingness of like everybody just needs to know what they want and be honest about that. That's the biggest hurdle I'm in right now. Because I don't mind long distance. Hell, I don't even mind moving. Like, come on. Like if I find a man and he's serious and he's like, listen, in 6 months, I'm gonna need you out here. And I'm gonna be like, say less. Are you sending a U-Haul? Like I will pack it up in peace, right? So it's not even about distance because I will go the distance to make something pop, right? Like I'm one of those people. But it's just nobody's honest. Nobody knows what they want. It's like we about to just see what it's like, about to vibe out. Like I don't do that no more. Like I used to do that and I wasted a lot of my time operating in a gray space. And I just want somebody who is like, this is what I want. This is what it takes to get here. These are the conversations we're gonna have. I'm not here for the fluff. I don't got time for that.
I'm gonna let you know right now. Philadelphia may call themselves the city of brotherly love. I'm in the state where they say love is right here. I'm in the big DMB, the big B. So we surrounded.
Yeah.
I like that directness when you
Mhm.
say, listen, I'm not into the fluff, I'm not into this. In your honest opinion, in your honest view, in your assessment, what do you think is lacking in men that you're seeing and you're experiencing? I don't want to hear the talking points. What are you experiencing as a woman that's lacking in that connection of just communication?
Well, let me just say that all of the talking points are not wrong. There's some truth to it.
Let's talk
However,
about
I think my biggest thing is the lack of confidence, right? The fact
it.
that men have to resort to podcasts to get direction. It's innately in you. You are a leader. As a man, you know how to make decisions. You know what you want. You're definitive. You know. But instead of having confidence, you look to somebody else to say, hey, this is how much you need to make, or this is what you need to have before you approach. Like, you know what you're capable of. If you're not where you're at, if you ain't at whatever 75, 80K, and you want to be with somebody, but just know you have steps to take, right? I think it's just,
Mhm.
again, knowing yourself and being confident in who you are. I don't think our men are confident these days. Black men, I'm going to say, and I don't blame them. Society has been shitting on them, excuse my French, for
Right.
years, right? Like they've been stepping stools and stepped on and dragged and talked about. Like I get it. But the confidence just has to be there. And even the way men approach women these days too,
Mhm.
again, is all wrong. They got it twisted, but it goes back to confidence. Just have confidence.
One of the things that I say, help me help you, help me to help you. And what I when I say that to people, it simply means me being older, me being, who I am. My attitude is I can't help the community when I don't know what the community really needs.
Mhm,
And you said, I like what you said about the confidence. I'm going to say with boldness, I see some of that too.
mhm,
And when I say confidence, meaning communication, meaning knowing how to talk, really standing on your authority. But then I also see, and I might lose male subscribers. I also see the brothers that really don't know what the heck they talking about. They want to run up on me, and it's like, Can you get some experience underneath your belt before you try to
Mhm.
run at me? But for those that really need the help, because you talked about that shifting of the mind.
Mhm.
If I had to play the role of a father, playing the role of a leader, I am Uncle Stu. What would you say needs to be taught that? And I'm gonna throw out this gentleman right here. Both of us is from the military. Both of us are we we're here just for the love and for the help. But a lot of people don't understand the military is all about leadership.
Mhm.
So when you say lack of leadership, it's like, wait a minute now, you get
Right.
the
You got to
leadership.
send it. Like, hold
You
on.
know, 8 weeks into, you already know how to yell at somebody and get them to go from point A to point B.
Mhm.
Um, and he was an officer. I was, non-commissioned. TJ,
Mhm.
was an officer. El Guapo, what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, wait a minute now. What are we talking about in the dynamics?
Mhm.
So my question would be, from your experience and from your vantage point,
Mhm.
what would you recommend me to teach, to educate, to be able to speak to my brothers and say, okay, listen, this is where we are. This is what the women are saying. And you know what? I'm observing the same thing. So here's some lessons too. Because I can't shift them into the military.
No.
They ain't going that direction. So I got to be able to do it a different direction. What would be some of your
Well,
um
I think I'm ill-equipped to respond because I'm not a man.
okay.
I can only answer for what I think may help.
Okay.
But for me, I would say encouraging them to be vulnerable to a particular person. I know men often shy away from being vulnerable with women because
Mhm.
women often weaponize that in certain instances, which we do be acting crazy sometimes. But
Got
in terms of like being vulnerable and finding someone to hold them accountable, like whether that's having a mentor or just someone who you talk to, like do you have someone to hold you accountable, do so that to me is important. That's one of the first things I ask of is like, who do you have a mentor who, and I don't need to know who exactly, but like
right.
is there a male figure in your life that you confide in, that you can talk to? I think right now nobody wants to be held accountable. Nobody wants to talk to people and like share. No one wants to be vulnerable these days, right? Especially with each other, but let alone with somebody like external, right? And I'm
Mhm.
not talking about your homeboy from around the way. I'm talking about someone who has life experience that can tell you when you're wrong and you take it and you listen, right? Even if it's a pastor, if it's like a someone you grew up with, like whatever. Just who is holding you accountable?
I wanna hold it right there, because one of the topics that I've been dealing with all this week, and I'm going to finally complete it next week, because I try to give myself a week to really take deep dives. On that note, one of the deep dive issues is that the baby boomer generation. Now, my generation ain't said this, but I'm gonna give you the argument. Baby boomers failed, Generation X failed, and because we failed, the millennials failed, and now we got, what is it, Gen Z to 20 something. In other words, all these older people failed, didn't pass the baton, didn't do no leadership, and as a matter of fact, the older generation, baby boomers, Gen X, we owe this younger generation an apology because of where they're at. So if we can't get an apology, we don't want to even hear what older people got to say, because they're old, they're stupid, they don't want to talk to us. When we go to them, they don't want to answer no questions. These are all the arguments I'm getting now. If you come to me with a problem, we just turn you down. We just tell you what we went through. There's no communication.
Right.
So with that being said, your answer would kind of fall on certain deaf ears, because if they don't want to listen to me because I'm old, I don't know nothing.
Right.
Somehow I heard them that I never knew I did anything, but
Well, let
I'm
me say
struggling with that.
let me say this, that
Okay.
just because a person is older, more mature, doesn't necessarily mean that is the person that is going to deliver the message, right? I just want to make that
Mhm.
blankly clear, because yes, on YouTube, in the YouTube sphere, you hear that all the time. Well, nobody want to hear from, whatever. Y'all did y'all stuff, we doing our stuff, whatever. Those,
Mhm.
they're not at the space to learn and grow or even be held accountable. So that's not your audience, and you're not for them. I
Mhm.
think um I was gonna say that while you were talking, I was just like, well, I agree, but then I don't at the same time, because it goes back to, one, you have to be willing to engage in that. And you're
Mhm.
not, and again, just because you're older or it's still not going to land, especially if they're not willing to hear it or how the message is being delivered. Sometimes I've been a part of conversations where it's, you need to do this, you need to do that, or this is what I did, listen to me, blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
Sometimes older people, mentors, whatever, are just there to listen,
Mhm.
not necessarily tell them what they need to do,
Mhm.
right? Unless they say, unless once you listen, like, can I give you some advice? Like, invite, ask, can I deliver this message to you, right?
Right.
If that, if you're giving it and they didn't ask for it, that's where you're getting that pushback from.
Right.
And this is on YouTube and off, right? Because I think
Mhm.
older people experience that outside of social media or being content creators or whatever. I do
Mhm.
think that it's a space for it, and there are people that are, again, in that growth period where they want to hear.
Mhm.
For me, I don't necessarily look for apologies, because you can't apologize for something that you didn't know at the time, right? We're
Mhm.
all going through life and living it the best way we know how.
Mhm.
And I think that's, y'all did too. Growing up, y'all didn't have the the world laid out for you, but you had to navigate it the way you knew how. And that's why I said listening is key, because there are certain things that the current generation is going through. You think about COVID, you think about the emerging, the tech space emerging. Y'all
Right.
didn't have to deal with that. Y'all didn't
Right.
have to deal with cyberbullying. Y'all didn't have to deal with a lot of things that we had to deal with. So there's going to be some things where you can't give your opinion on, because you never really experienced it until your later years. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I
Right.
say all that to say that some things, and TJ is a really good example. I'll be releasing our lunch with Lauren pretty soon, but we even talked about, just like, it's one thing to say this is what you need to do versus you being vulnerable and sharing your own journey. This is what
Mhm.
I did. I'm owning my truths. I didn't know back then. But simply by sharing your story versus sharing what you need to take from it, and this is what I know, without any context, it doesn't land. I hope I'm making sense,
No,
right?
you are.
It's the experience and the stories that land better than this what you should have done and you didn't listen, and this
Mhm.
that don't land on millennials at all.
Right. I'm gonna go right back to it. From the favorite. This is my older sister. Inside joke by 2 months. We'll say it with TJ Randolph for the 9.99 super chat. Love you too. And Melissa loves you always. The reason I say help me help you is because I always believed there could be two things at the same time. And I always believe in self development.
Mhm.
That's my critical thing. That if you're not growing on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, then you're going backwards and you're not growing. And I always look for the conversation. So it's one of those, okay, she said this, let me go look in the mirror. Let me go see how I can do this better, how I can do that better. How, because if I don't know what is needed, I don't know what to get.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'll tell you my struggle. You tell me how to handle that struggle. You ready? I've heard the echo of, hey, what have you gone through? What have you you've been through? Tell me your story. The question that I have is, how can I just tell you a story if you don't ask me the story? Because I feel it's imposing just for me to say, let me tell you what I've been through. And then it's like me dumping every bleeding heart situation where it could be taken as excuse or justification. But even I give you a general history,
Mhm.
how do I get you to receive it?
Yeah.
And I give you a scenario where it's like, salute Getty Radio. Getty, I need that photo. You on tomorrow. You see who you got on right tonight. So you better come right tomorrow. Getty Radio. He's on my show tomorrow night. So how do you do that? For millennials to receive truth and not these retarded platform. I believe this, and it's like, wait a minute, this is you tobacco the whole history. Then when we're trying to give it to you, you done heard from another 30-year-old that didn't do any research. How help me to help that generation? How do we tackle that?
Yeah, the first thing that I would say is ask. So, like, say for instance, we're having a conversation, we're on a panel, and somebody expresses how they feel, and you can relate, right? So instead of throwing this my story and be like, I hear you, and if can I share a little bit with you to, it's basically like asking to invite your story in, because sometimes when someone is venting or someone is, sharing their truth and someone interjects their own, it's almost like I got one better, I'm a one up you. That's how it can be perceived, or it kind of diminishes their own experience and truth. So that's why I say ask. And then secondly, it doesn't have to necessarily link, if you will. Like, so if we're having a conversation and I share, a random dating story, you can be like, yeah, I totally hear you. Back when I was 25, same thing happened to me, period. Like, sometimes you don't always have to go into detail. And I think the kind of assessing where the conversation is going, and you can also tell body language,
Right.
Virtually, whether or not someone's listening, or maybe if you need to scale back a little bit. So just being attentive. And I think that goes back to one of my reasons why I didn't talk as much on the Lapeef show. Is
Right.
again, I'm looking at body language. Like, I value what I have to say.
1 second. Excuse me.
Mhm.
1 second. I'm almost doing one of these talk hell numbers. Hold on 1 second. I got some noise in the background and it's loud.
I can't even hear it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How y'all doing in the chat? If Dana's still here, I didn't call you back because I had to jump on here. I saw some people in the chat. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Make sure y'all go subscribe to my channel, please.
I think they've been dropping your YouTube channel in the chat.
Oh,
So yeah.
Yes, I see it.
Look, I'm a father. I got them ears. I just had to get some things in the house. Like, hold up, now I'm hearing two loud conversations. Okay.
We could hear it
in the chat. So go ahead, continue.
Oh no, I was gonna say first ask, and then first listen and then ask. It's just sometimes, like I said, millennials just want to listen. Want someone to listen. But you just got to know when to share it and then when to scale back. To your point, every detail is not necessary. But it depends on the context. Like Auntie TJ, she shares a lot on her channel. And I think that's why it works. It lands because it's, she's speaking facts. She's not actually responding to someone. She's just sharing her truth, and it's there whenever someone's ready to pick it up, right? It's not like this is a call and response situation. It's like, I'm gonna just tell you my journey, my life. I'm gonna title it in a way where you can find it when you are ready and you're at this point, but you can come back and you can see somebody who's been through it and you're not alone, kind of thing.
Beautiful. So I'm gonna go deep dive now.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Do you want to be married?
Oh yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do want to be married. Yeah. Well, I hope you about to ask, do I want to have kids next?
Girl, look. Let me tell you something. I got daughters, and I watch them eyes. I watch and pay attention to people too. You ain't about to have Auntie TJ blowing up my phone saying, oh, you know better. So we ain't even gonna go there. That's for you and whoever you want to talk to.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say anyway. I was gonna say.
Look, I said this certain. Look, I'm an old man now. I got a little wisdom. I got a little wisdom. If you had to project yourself argumentatively, 5 years from now, where do you see yourself? Spitting fire in the house.
5 years from now, definitely married.
I'll just say if you want to take a smaller number, a year from now, like if you had to take that breath and say, this is really where I want to be a year from now. This is really where I want to be 3 years from now.
That's kind of hard to say. I mean, obviously, 5 years from now, I will hope to be married. Okay. A year from now, I will hope to either be married or in a relationship that is leading toward marriage. Because I know people date for a long time these days, but those short dating periods are long gone. Because I mean, who was it? Sir Hale and Security Boss, like they all dated for just 3 months or so, and then they got married. That's not today's time, but that is something that I'm looking forward to. Also, just in terms of work, sure, I would love to still create content, but I honestly just want to leave the door open to inviting whatever brings me joy. I think I spent most of my 20s working my life away, doing things that made other people happy, and I didn't necessarily live my 20s the way I wanted to. So now that I'm in my 30s, I think time is precious. I think I live for experiences rather than material things. Like I live for moments. So I'll definitely be traveling more. If y'all don't know me, I travel a lot. So just traveling more and experiencing the world and getting out of this bubble we like to call America.
Excellent. What other countries would you like to see? Because I've not to impose, I've traveled the world as well, both in and out the military. So
yeah.
What's
I've been to 4 countries in Asia already, but I want to. I mean, I don't necessarily have any destination spots. Obviously, Dubai is definitely on my list. Want to visit a few countries in Africa. Yeah, I mean, I don't have like a dream destination spot. But I just want to go somewhere. I find myself always landing in places that make me uncomfortable. But if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing.
Right.
And so that's why I'm like, sure, I could pick places that are safe. And, people often go, I can say Paris, I can say all these different things. Yes, I do want to travel there. But I mean, I'm open to going to places that people be like, what, you went where? How you spell that? And I just,
But you know what I love? So I'm gonna ask you before I really interject. We have this issue online because I only see it online where people talk about, oh, you travel, you see people, and you hear it with, this, again, we're going back to this dating stuff again.
Yeah.
But I'm really going to take it away from that because I need your experience. Okay. One of the biggest issues, especially when I'm speaking to certain African-American women, they got this image. Like women overseas are these dirt poor, let's all, I don't know where it's coming from, but this dirt poor, the only reason why they like you is because they trying to get a green card. And I'm sitting up here scratching my head like, have y'all ever been overseas? Because my experience is not that experience. So what have been your experience as an African-American woman going overseas and how people treated you over there?
Well, I haven't had any bad experiences. They actually think we're celebrities. Like, it's weird. Where I've been, it's like we want to take pictures of you, with you. Obviously I haven't been to the UK. I would love to go to the UK. Okay. But I know there are certain places where, we are treated differently as Black women, but the places that I've been to, it's like, are you Beyonce's cousin? Like they don't know any different. And I think that's so cute. Be innocent. Keep that innocent mind. Like, yes, take a picture and save it. Put it on your fridge. Yeah,
but that experience, because I sometimes when I see things happening in this country, I sometimes do have to reflect to when I was in Germany and Australia and those places. How did it make you feel as an American? Do you feel, when you went over there, and I don't know how you identified yourself. Let me give you my experience.
I'm an American.
When I was overseas, I think the first time I went, what threw me off was that I was not recognized as, for my age group, a Black American. It was American. And it was like,
right.
We don't see the African American, you just American. And they had this history. When I was in France, they had a better African American study history than I received in my own country. But it really blew me away and really gave me a different perspective on not only myself as an American, but America as a whole. What would you say your experience is? I mean, I know it got its problems, but it's like, wow.
Well, I think with anything, the environment that you're in requires different things, right? So when you're overseas, yes, we're not looked at as Black Americans. Like I said, when they've asked, I'm American. It's never, any distinction between anything else. But I think certain environments call for different things. Overseas, you don't necessarily have the racial tension. You don't have that. But here you do, and it requires a different side of you. It doesn't necessarily mean that we should ignore it. No, because it absolutely is an issue. So yeah, when we're in America, we do have to assume a certain posture. We do have to double take, do a double take and look at things, with a side eye, versus if you're overseas, you don't even bat an eye. You kind of go about it as business as usual. And oftentimes, depending on when you are, being an American is like top tier, right? So again, there's this thing, like when you're in a different environment, it calls for different things. When you go overseas, depending on where you go, you're going to be extra confident, versus where you're here, depending on what state you go to, you're going to be watching your back, right? So different environments call for different things, and it doesn't necessarily mean one is right or wrong, but you got to take into consideration the culture shift, the differences in culture. That's why before you travel, they say do your homework, do your research, see what the culture, the climate is like, all of these different things, because once you prepare differently, right? Before you travel anywhere, you know the sundown towns, you know where you shouldn't be traveling, you do your homework. The same applies when you go overseas. So yeah, that whole notion of, when you go abroad, you'll find that what we dealing with America is very small. Sure, but I'm not going to minimize it, because it is a very real thing, and this is where we spend the majority of our time. So I'm not going to diminish that at all.
Excellent. Well, would you want to hear from the chat?
Sure, if anybody wants to, yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get this together, and let me just do this, because we're in a new time now.
Welcome to the Emancipated Studio, where you are welcome to engage with guests and the panel. Please stay on topic and be respectful to our guests and panel. Be sure to have your camera on while in the back of the studio, so that you may be verified by Uncle Stu, and then you may turn your camera off while participating on the panel. You have given up all rights to any footage and clips which can be used by Uncle Stu and his staff. Now please hit the link again, and welcome to Uncle Stu's Emancipated Studio.
Now, Lauren, do you remember I said this was almost when you began your show, and I said, hey, I got a topic for you, and you was like, yeah, I've been through that. This is the young lady that you were supposed to have that conversation with.
Aww.
This is my oldest daughter.
Aww.
I think both of y'all is about the same age. Both of y'all had the same issues. I just put it out there. For me and mine, we had the father-daughter issues. We had that, hey, we gotta get it right issues. We got the communication issues. We had all of that. I didn't want to talk about that here because I felt that was more for your platform and for you to go there. I feel when you share something like that, that's really more personal for you. But I had to bring that up because you and I talked about that openly on the platform. That's her. She said she just subscribed to you.
Yay, thank you. I see someone asked where I was from. I'm from Detroit originally, and I moved to LA.
So. Oh, you from? All right, so that means you got a peek in Friday. Spitting Fire is also from Detroit.
Nice.
Yeah,
she got some gems.
Yeah, she be dropping it. She be dropping it. I put the link in the chat if anybody want to come up. If you don't want to come up and you got a question for her, please put a Q in the chat and we'll definitely get that question answered. Definitely will get it answered. Make sure if you like conversations like this, you want Uncle Stu to get you the best of these conversations, I need you to hit that subscribe button. So let me explain it to everybody. Everybody think, oh, they just want like, clicks, views, like, click. But actually, to sometimes get the best of content creators, they really do look at the size of your channel. They really do look at what kind of work you're putting in. Yeah, they really do. So the more subscribers you have, the better content creators that you can get, and not just content creators, even people offline. At the end of the day, it's a business. Somebody that got 100K subscribers is not going to necessarily want to interview with somebody who got just 1,000. Yeah, he's just not. It's very rare that you're going to find somebody that got big numbers willing to talk to somebody with little numbers, unless they're doing some, give me some of this and
and
I'm not about to pay for interviews. I want to have that platform where I want you to feel honored, and I want to feel honored to have you just to have the conversation and be able to talk and learn and to study and everything else. All righty now. I done dropped this link.
Well, right,
answer all the questions. Why you're going TJ platform, everybody be trying to blow it up. Hey, wait a minute, you was in Uncle Stu platform. You didn't say a word. You came over here, but I ain't even mad. I'm not jealous or anything. I am not.
I'm surprised Sir Hale didn't come up because he stayed trying to catch me up. Like, I got a question, and I'll be like, what question do you have?
But I tell you what's funny, and I've noticed this. I have noticed this for at least the last 2-3 streams. So me and my I have an all-male mastermind group, and I have maybe 1 or 2 women that's in it, but mostly all-male mastermind group. These are brothers that's in tech. These are brothers that's in crypto. These are brothers that's in real estate. So it ain't one of these. I picked up a book and this is what I do. They got receipts. And we've been having this conversation as, hey, the last couple of times I've did a platform, I don't get nobody to come up no more, and it's like, what am I doing? And they was like, no, you're answering all the questions. You're not really leaving. It was like, oh, okay, I got it. One of the questions from Robert H. Matt from Tender says, why did you move to California?
I get this question a lot. I moved to California, scenery change, number 1. And 2, I don't know if once you subscribe, you'll see, but I have a twin brother. He lives out here. So I'm not out here by myself. I do have family here.
Right.
So just a scenery change. I've been in Michigan all my life, basically. And, I always wanted to know what it's like to live here. So here I am.
Okay. I'm gonna ask this, and if you don't want to answer, that's fine. So I'm presuming that your brother moved to California first.
Yeah.
Is he in some type of industry, like the acting industry or the film industry, or he just wanted to move to California and be that brother on the beach?
Just wanted to move to Cali.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. All righty.
The golden
If you was here earlier, I think you really answered this question, but I'm gonna pretend you wasn't here earlier. So, Lauren, what do you look for in a man? Anderson the Great wants to know.
Yeah, this is the golden question. I feel like I get asked this all the time. I would say go look at my videos, but I won't, but still go watch them. What I look for in a man: work ethic. Are you kind, like compassionate? So really work ethic is number one. Kind, confident. Confidence is key. You could be short but have confidence. You can be tall but confidence is there, top tier. Okay. So those I think are the top three. Like you can't be out here being an a-hole to people and being nice to me, because again, how you treat people, it tells a lot to me. That's my short list. I mean, there's a longer list, but that's my short list.
You should have a whole lot of subscribers, because I have been watching people subscribe. So you should definitely be going back with at least 10 subscribers, because I've definitely been seeing that all up and down the chat. I'm trying to see.
Cloud Nation had a question.
Where is it?
Ask LM what she believes is keeping her from being married. No, it was a different one.
Okay.
Yeah, ask LM what she believes is keeping her from being married. I don't think anything is keeping me from being married outside of, the men got to be ready to ask me. Like, I'm not the one proposing, right? I'm just in my weight, if you will, am doing the self-work, right? So I'm surrounding myself with people who are married. I'm asking the questions that I need to know. I've never been married before. So I'm asking some of those questions to my married friends, people that are around me that have been married for a long time. So I'm gleaning, growing, all of those things while I'm single. So whenever I meet him, I'm whole.
I'm gonna say this, and this is coming from ladies and gentlemen, we got the lead attorney in the building. Now Lauren, he did it to me once. He a Georgia boy, but he always likes to punk us New Yorkers, because he's always talking junk about us New York. So I got to know, am I about to get punked on my own show? But he's more than welcome. But Lee, I just want you to know I've been doing some push-ups, bro. I've been doing some push-ups. But I'm gonna say this, because as a male, as a husband, as a father, one who raised children, I don't think every woman should see themselves as a box. You got to see yourself as a whole. You're an individual. And so anybody can give you any answer at any time, but be authentically you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we can have 20,000 talking points on one side. We got 20,000 talking points on the other side. But I've never seen the 20 talking point woman. And I ain't never seen a 20 talking point man.
Yeah.
But I say be authentically you.
Absolutely.
See, everybody, here it is. Give it up for the lead attorney.
What's up?
How are y'all doing?
Get punked, lead. Am I about to get punked?
No, you all good. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Listen, hit Lauren. This is New York here. This is how we do.
Here we go with this New York shit.
Okay.
Here we go with this New York stuff. Man. So what I just came on to show love, man. Uncle Stu, you are always in these YouTube streets, always putting in the work, man, and the results are coming. It took me a year to get 1,000 subscribers, and you just blowing past all records. So anytime I see you on, and I always want to jump on, and of course, the lovely Lauren Melissa, right. I know she's up here wondering why she ain't married, but then she gonna move to LA of all places. All places.
Not wondering why I'm not married.
When I jumped on, that's what I thought I heard you explaining why you weren't married.
Well, because
Something
someone
about,
asked why.
I'm just saying what I heard. You know, and I thought it was ironic. You talk about why you are married, and you moved to the land of I mean,
undateable people. Yeah.
yes, there was just this this black content creator. I don't know her name. She's a black woman, young black woman. She has like 1 million subscribers. And she's not really in our space. She's outside of it. I don't know how she came up on my feed, but I watched her video and I thought about you. Because you're the only person, only really like YouTuber that I know that's big, that's in LA. And she was talking about how, you know, dating in LA and just living in LA wasn't the thing. And she was saying that even she's surprised because although she has 1 million subscribers, you know, she moved out there and she's amazed at how fake it is. You know, everybody, all these friendships are based on, you know, who has the amount of followers on IG and TikTok and you know, YouTube. She was saying that she would go to parties, and when you show up at the party, you have to show your phone. You have to show how many subscribers or followers you have just to get in. She was like, if you don't have a blue check mark, you might as well just stay in the car.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, she was talking about how many basically how everybody was just jockeying for friends. And, you know, if you suddenly blow up, now you have a lot of friends. If you fall off, you know, no one's calling your phone. No one wants to hang out. I was like, man, that's where Lauren moved to, man. She could have came down here to Atlanta where everything is cool. You ain't got to show nothing. You just gotta, you know, just gotta be yourself, and you know, you can relate to folks. You moved to the fakest place on earth, and now I hear you talking about, oh, well, a man just has to ask me, and I'm just waiting. It's like, Jesus Christ, where's the accountability?
And then it doesn't mean that he has to be here though. But you didn't come in on that part. I did say if he lived elsewhere, I would move to where he is. But I will say this: one, I would never. Like I hear everything that you're saying and what the content creator said. I've experienced that for sure.
Really? So I've never been. So I don't know if it's cap or not. I've never been to LA. Shout out to LA.
It's definitely true, just how fake it is. But for me, it doesn't really faze me because I have no intention and I have no desire to kind of like change who I am, right? Because I could totally come on here, put on makeup and, you know, put on like I don't. Because what you see is what you get. I'm not finna fake the funk. Because let's be honest, who wants to put on makeup every day? So that's me. So I'm content and I'm okay with that. But yeah, I've experienced that. I'm just not fazed by it. But
I hear you. You know, things. You know, they don't do that in Atlanta. If you're thinking about your next move, you know.
If I do, my next move would probably be Texas, though.
Yeah, Texas is popping. So shout out to Texas. Even your boy was thinking about, man, you know, they ain't got no state taxes out there. Your boy's thinking about Texas too. I got my eye on it. That is very, very true.
Yeah, I told you, you better look at the 757. We chilling right here.
Where's the 757? I hope it ain't in New York.
It's near it.
See, why you always talk about New York, man? New York is cool. We just got high real estate. I mean, I know you've had some people on there that kind of represented us, not too light, you know.
Facts.
I'm a good brother.
Facts. Barbara Coleman. Every time Barbara come up with her Bed-Stuy Brooklyn self, or whatever, I'm like, here we go, Barbara. Barbara always on that BS.
I'll be like, Lord, somebody got to get up there and represent right now.
Yeah, we just, you know, listen, I have a lot of respect for you, New Yorkers. Y'all have been through so much. Y'all are a very hard people. All of y'all seem so hard when y'all come down to Atlanta. You know, the South, you know, we're just relaxed down here. Everybody's nice. We're polite, you know. y'all New Yorkers, at least it's how it used to be. I went to the mall yesterday and I put this on my IG. There were weapons detectors and checkpoints in the fanciest mall that we have in the state. The fanciest mall. This is not some ghetto mall. This isn't Greenbrier. This ain't South DeKalb. The fanciest mall that we have in the state has weapons detectors and security checkpoints. You think you're up in Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson Airport? No, your ass at the mall. So I was like, oh God, it's getting deep. Well, deep down here. Maybe I need to shut up talking about New York, or maybe it's just all you New Yorkers down here. It wasn't like that. We didn't have no problems at Lenox for this influx of New Yorkers. You know, that's the problem.
Well, I saw that on your IG, but I couldn't. When I say I can relate, but I couldn't relate because it was like, okay, I don't know enough about Atlanta to know what is he actually showing, and
it's the best mall. It used to be. It's just crazy now. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, so I didn't want to bogart the whole thing. I just wanted to, whenever I see you and I'm presentable, I always want to show up and show love. Uncle Stu, you are always killing the game. And then when I hear some woman talking about she ain't married and she waited, like, whenever I hear that, I gotta jump in. We're gonna see what the accountability is, right?
I really hate that. You missed it. I was holding the women accountable too. You gotta go back and watch. It's okay.
Yeah, look, that's right, Lauren. Tell her, watch the replay.
I'm gonna watch. I'm absolutely watching the replay.
He was trying to take your boy's manosphere card, but I'm holding it down.
Man, they were trying to snatch it away. I stepped outside of the manosphere. I walked outside the house and started talking about that Cardi B, Tasha K stuff. It's deep out there, boy. I got to go back in the house. I do not see how women do it. Women out here in this whole gossip sector, beef sector. I don't know, Lauren, if you've ever had an experience outside of kind of,
I stay in my little lane. That's not for me.
It's deep out there, boy. I just got somebody that sent me an email talking about they want me to come on their show, and they're big, but they're outside, and they sent me the link, and I looked at it, and I looked at the person's videos and stuff. Like, I have learned my yes. I was like, y'all can do that if y'all want to, but I ain't doing that. And then it's like you choosing sides. That's what I noticed covering the whole Tasha K, Cardi B, and I was trying to be down the middle, trying to call it down the line. You got to pick a side over there. Either you are Cardi B or you are Tasha K. And they didn't like, I'm trying to call things fair. I see Tasha K doing stuff, but now I see, she's doing some good stuff now with the whole interview that she had with the false allegations against men. We are all about that over here, calling out BS false allegations. Mm-hmm. But then, people don't, they're just like, listen, either I love you or I hate you. That's how it is over there. It's not a lot of nuance. So we got it good over here in the manosphere. People talk stuff about us, and sometimes it might be a little bit deserved, some criticism. We're not perfect over here, but out there with the women, Lauren, I think I think you chose a good lane, because I'm sure it's easy to get seduced out there. It's a lot of Black women out there, but
it is. I know that's what sets me apart. Like, if that's what you want, it's a lot out there. But if you want just some authentic, real conversations, that's me.
Yeah.
Real calm. We ain't got to choose sides. We just rocking.
Exactly. Uncle Stu, man, I'm looking at your dang live, man. You got everybody in here. You got Courtney Michelle in here. You got Big Bad Bull in here. You got, you got Sir Hale Speaks in here. You got Vaughn in here. You got everybody. Oh, you got Nelson Counseling in here. I was wondering where everybody was tonight. They over here on your
oh, no. Don't even say that, Lee. You know that if you got off this live and threw up a thumbnail, my little old numbers would go from I got 47 in the chat. My numbers will drop to like 5.
Listen, you say that, but you got 1,000 subscribers in a few months. It took me a year to get that. So you got intentional millionaire in here, man. You got everybody in here. You got Perry Unlikely in here.
Yeah, he got his millionaire card back, so we gotta keep him around. You know, we trying to.
Did he get his man? I don't
drop like 5-10 grand.
Listen, I don't know how anybody's a millionaire in this stock market, boy. I had some options. Woo! Your boy took an L in January, boy. I took an L. Them damn options, boy. I said, okay, I gotta press pause on these options, man. I don't see how anybody's a millionaire in this one. I think everybody who was in the market, boy, we kind of took it a little bit last month. Hopefully, you know, it looks like maybe we at some type of bottom, but we were free falling for a while. It was rough.
Well, don't go nowhere, Lead, because you know us vets stick together, and I got the Seattle Black Veteran in the house.
Shout out to Seattle Black Veteran.
So he's
Snuggles in here.
Yes, sir. There he is.
There he is.
You know, he be in and out. He be in and out. You know, he over there in the big CA2. You know, he in Seattle. So when I'm on, it's kind of hard on his time schedule to catch me, but he does come through. He does come through.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to now work on the internals. I am trying to put in more work. I am trying to, you know, I'm still going through your thing as well as trying to, you know, put out better content. It's definitely work. Yeah. You know, and really having the authentic conversation. I think you said it perfectly well. It is finding those people that want to have the authentic conversation. It's not about, I want to have 20 people on my platform, everybody screaming, yelling, cussing, and you're getting I don't want that. I want people to really see this platform as it is, to have the tough conversation.
Let's have a tough conversation. I want to know. I want to follow up on this. I want to know if Lauren is dating out there in LA. I want to know what's the dating scene like out there.
Oh, here you go.
let's have a tough conversation. Let's see what's up. Because none of us are in LA, right? And you see how beautiful this lady is. Mm-hmm. So, what's going on out there? Is it tough? Like, what's the scene like?
Is it tough? Sure. I don't really go anywhere, so I did resort to a dating app.
Dating apps are awesome. I mean, it just casts your net so wide, right?
It does, but I mean, not a lot, a good number of people, like, basically was like, "Hey, I think I've seen you on Lapeef."
I got
I'm like, dang. So that has happened.
Let me ask you about this, because I'm just starting to run into this myself. I went to the mall yesterday, which is why I made that damn pic, and I got recognized by 4 people. 2 of them were together, so I just counted as 3. I'll just say 4, like 4 people, two dudes together, and then there was one dude going up an escalator when I was going down, and then another dude, right? Mm-hmm. So this was like my first real time getting recognized, but I've been recognized twice on these damn dating apps, and it's always, I'm like, nah, when you leave with that, when you leave with that,
And then this one dude went as far as to be like, at first, the first one I ignored because I just was not remotely interested. This other guy was like, if I say yes, what's going to happen? So I was like, yes, that was me. And dude, it was like an interview, was trying to get intel, like, oh, is Kay really like this? And I said, okay. So if you ever thought you had a chance to me, it's like really done. So
I saw a live with you where this dude was trying to pick up your friend. I don't remember what your friend's name was. The dude was trying to pick up your friend, and he was like, what the hell? He said, he was like, yeah, I could take you on a date or whatever. You would just need to keep me away from Lauren. And your friend was like, do you remember? I don't remember.
We were like, what?
Yeah, everybody was like, well, he was like, yeah, because I can't be with you, but then looking at Lauren at the same time. I was like, oh, here we go. Like some dudes are wild with it, right? Like they kind of get distracted. So your boy was asking you all about Kay and Lapeef and all that.
Yeah, and I was just like, if you're looking for intel, like I'm not it, but thanks. And then like that was it. I didn't. He was like, all right, well, last question. Like, ain't no last question. Like, like next.
Last question. That's hilarious. So talk to us about that. Like, this is interesting for content creators. Talk to us about dating, and you're in the land of dating content creators because there's so many content creators in LA. How does that
definitely interesting to me? Because
how does that work? What are some considerations that you have?
Yeah, so it's really interesting because I've come across actors like because I'm in LA, so they're on this particular dating app, and they're like fully recognizable, right? Some of them will flat out say, "I'm only looking for a good time."
Really?
Which obviously, I'm like next. But if for women that are out here that's just wanting to have an opportunity to be in front of these people, then they will probably obviously swipe right or whatever. But for me, that doesn't phase me. Money, fame doesn't phase me. So anytime they're leading with their accolades, like go look at my YouTube or go look at my IG or I've been on this show. So they try to do like 2 truths and a lie, like all of these different things. And they'll say like, I've been on this show and I've been here. It doesn't phase me. So I'm really looking for a dude that's like frustrated with the current dating scene, that's, looking for something serious. And that's what I mean by like, everyone's trying to just hook up and just vibe. No one's actually looking for something. So it does make it a little bit difficult.
Oh, really? Moving to LA and everybody's just trying to vibe. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed?
Hey, but you know what? Let's see this, Uncle Stu. What I found when I was in LA, one of the reasons that helped me leave, too many guys out there cross training. They go female and male, female and male, and they don't let the female know that they're out there cross training like that. You remember when Cat Williams said they're having a meeting, and the guy goes right on the thing. He goes, you don't know that I just saw you sniffing that line of coke. It's like there's cats out there like that, and it gets buck wild. I used to live off of Highland between Hollywood Bowl and Man's Chinese Theater. Yeah, it was.
You was like in the thick of it then.
I used to do editing for B-rated movies, B movies, and that's when you find out too. A lot of these cats out there, if they're acting and they're on the B list, they're trying so hard to get to the A list, and it's like you said, it's just materialistic, and some of them don't make it there. So yeah, watch yourself with those guys.
So tell us about some of these dates you've been on.
Actually, it's funny. They don't actually make it. They don't even make it to a date.
Look, Lauren. I got to do this one. Seattle. You notice I already put him at the top left, just like if he was on his show. He got real comfortable. Interview got bombarded to the right. You want to know about the dating part?
Listen, You said this show was about uncomfortable conversations. I keep hearing you say that. So let's have one. Let's hear about some of these dates.
Yeah, so they actually haven't actualized. Like their plans have been made and then they fall through. How long have you been out there? I've been out here 4 months. 3 months.
In 4 months, you haven't been on one date in LA. You want us to believe that?
It's true.
On your photos for your app, do you have that nose ring on?
I do.
And you ain't been on one date?
No.
And it's not the guy's fault. That's the thing. Well, this is what guys in the manosphere are saying. It's like, come on. All of these men that are swiping on you, and you can't go out on one date.
It's not. First off, it's not me. It's not me that's setting up the dates. Let's be clear. It is them. I'm not.
What apps are you on?
I'm not finna say what apps I'm on.
Because listen, on Bumble and on Bumble, like the women have to take the lead.
Well, no, I'm not on Bumble, so I'll say that. So the app that I'm on.
You're on Tinder. Oh my god.
No, I am not. That is I am not on Tinder. No. So
Okay.
what I'm trying to say is it's gone from okay, let's meet here, and then a couple hours beforehand, like, okay, send me the address. Nothing. Then 3 hours later, oh my bad, I got tied up. Like, it's just all for play. So what you're not about to do is waste my time more than once, right?
Facts.
You get that one opportunity and that's it, right? And I'm not desperate to be going out on dates. Again, I'm not the chick who's like, I need to be wined and dined. Take me to a plant nursery so we can look at plants. Like, do stuff like that. I'm very simple, right? I'm not trying to make it a thing. Like, best believe I'm not asking for the world on these one dates.
How much do dates? Because I heard in New York, dates can, you can spend $200 on a date. How much is a first date kind of run just generally? How much would a guy spend normally?
Maybe like $150.
Golly.
That's minimum. And that's just
$150 on a date.
That's
she said minimum.
That's 2 drinks, so mine and his, and then you consider an appetizer and then the entrees.
Are you serious?
But you want to know why I believe that, Lee? Think about the prices.
No, I believe it. It's like, God, how could you date? If you tried to date 5 women, on a first date, you in for what, $700 or something BS?
That's what I'm saying. They're not dating like that. Out here, it's I'm trying to smash. And I have those radars. That's why they're not actually out here trying to spend money. Because if you think about people that live in LA, they're faking it until they make it. Meaning they will have the most expensive car and live in a cardboard box. Okay. They will put everything out for a show and not have anything to account for it. So if by any means, they'll be like, oh, let's meet up. Oh, let's meet up at your spot. Or they will find every way to escape taking you somewhere where they have to spend money. I'm not lying to you. To step out the house to breathe the LA air costs $100. Wow. So they're not going to take you to no restaurant for real unless they for real about you. And in order for them to be real, and in order for them to be convinced that you're worth spending that $150 on, then you have to basically show ass and titties on the Instagram. You got to give something, like that whole narrative that you hear. We kind of talked about, Uncle Stu, about women have to give something in order for men to reciprocate or whatever. Like, what am I going to get in return? That's where that comes from. Because again, if you live in places like this or Atlanta, New York, whatever, taking women out on actual dates is going to cost money.
Yeah, but you can get in Atlanta, it might only cost half that. You can get a good date in Atlanta for $75.
Go to a happy hour. Sure.
Yeah. shout out to Courtney Michelle. Right?
Hey, Lauren,
something. Right?
Lauren, there's a get over easy way. Go up to the Getty. I think it's like $15 a piece. You can bring your own sandwich, your own wine, your own basket, and you can tour the whole museum all day long.
There you go. See, if y'all listening and you in LA, take that advice. I'm not write it down.
What's the Getty?
It's the John Paul Getty Museum. All of his collections are really kind of like above. It's actually above the observatory, the observatory, Griffin's Observatory. It's above there. You can see all the smog of beautiful downtown Los Angeles. And it's actually a museum, a bunch of paintings, a bunch of sculptures. You can bring your own sandwiches, your own basket there. You can catch them at a concert. Yeah, so it's the John Paul Getty. We call it the Getty.
How would a woman convince a stranger to spend $150 on that experience? I don't know. That's a hard.
So I see Vaughn in the chat. He said you can always find inexpensive things to do in LA, and you are 1000% right. But with that, it takes intentionality and planning. And most men, again, that requires effort. And men look at the woman and say, "What you got to give for me to be putting out this much energy toward?" Like, it's that kind of. And it doesn't help the space that they're in or where they're getting their narratives from. There's so many male podcasts that are spewing what women got to do, put out, or do. It's too much of that.
Really?
Again, I go back to the conversation I had with Uncle Stu at the beginning. Men need to start thinking for themselves and be more confident. They result to all these podcasts because they're not confident in their ability to grab women on their own merit. Like, come on, you have the leadership abilities. You probably have the looks. Like, all of these things is in you. It's innately in you. You are a man. You are a leader by nature. Lead. Stop looking for other men to tell you how you need to show up in front of women. Y'all already know.
Let me ask you a question, and this is real. My question would be, because yes, I am from New York, and yes, taking a woman to a museum or taking a woman to, you know, an art exhibit, whether it's the African American Museum or it's, you know, any other type of museum, because culturally, you know, it is that way in New York. But in today's times, how many women is really like that? That's really into the museum, the art, the etc. Because I ain't gonna lie, when prior to me in my singleness, that was not the thing to do. It was try to take me to some restaurant that they couldn't afford but wanted me to pay for, and I'm not in LA.
Uncle Stu, let me stop you right there, because any place where women can get bomb ass pictures, selfies, I mean, museums is like the number one spot. Can you take a picture of me right here? Any place that's gonna make them look like expensive, everything expensive, everything like museums.
Yeah, Lauren dropping knowledge. I've never thought about that before in my life on
They
a
want
first date.
something where you can take a picture and be like, I'm here. You know, nobody goes to museums. So anything that makes them look exclusive, everything expensive. Museums is the number one spot. There are so many content creators, influencers that would adore. They're always at these pop-up art exhibits, the Black Hair Experience, the Tupac Shakur experience that's here. Like, they want to go to these places that not everybody has been, and that sets them apart. So I would argue to say that most women do want that picnic in the park because, one, nobody's doing it. Think of aesthetically the pictures they can get to show it off. Like, think about the women, the millennial women. They want these things.
See, we're all older up here, so we don't.
Look, her homegirl said it. Now I have to admit, now I did hear Courtney Michelle, and I ain't capping. Courtney Michelle, you know, she said she likes that thing on her side, so she likes to go to the gun range. So that's one.
Michelle got a gun. Hey, we got FYF Sports in the house. Shout out to He's calling.
They look. When you leave, I better have about another 500 subscribers when it's all over.
FYF Sports.
I better have at least 500 more subscribers.
FYF Sports says Cap. What's Cap? What did you heard that's Cap?
Where is he at? Yeah. Look, and Matt from Tender said that's capping too. What we got?
We got Cap. I haven't heard anything that's Cap. What's Cap?
I haven't either. I guess he's saying I'm capping that women don't like that, but I would
maybe he's behind. Maybe these live streams, he could be 30 minutes behind and be responding to something. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But you know the thing too, though. I would say this is that what I like when I see a woman who recognizes a man being a gentleman, a woman that knows a man don't mind opening the door, and she respects that, you know, don't mind putting it in the car, respect it. And I would say that's one thing a lot of the young ladies, I believe, are missing these days is, you know, like you say, you can notice from the first time you meet a person, if a person's sitting there across from you at the table chewing with their mouth open, right? Or, you know, things like that. Are you going to open the door for a woman? She doesn't even let you do that. And she's, you know, and it's just kind of interesting. I mean, you met these women before, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah.
I think that's all. I would have never thought that a type of value that a woman could get on a first date would be a selfie. That's amazing too. I'm just fucking old. Like, they don't really do that like here in Atlanta. I've never been on a date ever where a first date where a woman asked for a selfie.
Well, yeah. So here's the thing. So, men, here's a tip: get your angles together, because she probably will say, "Can you take a picture of me?" And if you can get the right angle, you will score points. At least, and again, I'm speaking here in terms of LA, where everything is for show.
Yeah, for LA,
everything is for content, right? You do everything. Like, I mean, I think about when I go to Culver Stairs to run the stairs or go to on these hikes. I'm not thinking about looking cute. One is hot as hell. I'm gonna be tired. But the amount of women that show up looking like they are about to shoot for Reebok and Nike, looking so cute with
I
their hair
love
pressed.
Lauren. I love Lauren.
It's they're really out here to go work out. It is, and then they once they make it to the top, it's okay, take a picture here, and now we back down the stairs. I mean, they're going to maximize the opportunity, whether it's on a date, whether we just taking a walk in the park. It's going to happen.
This is so amazing. Yeah, I have there's a content creator named Raymond Isaiah, and he's in the Air Force, he's military, and he has a YouTube channel. Awesome, brother. He's helped me out so much, especially when I was small. And he was talking about he drove 9 hours to go to Christian Guzman's gym. I think Christian Guzman's gym is either in California or it's in Texas. Let's say it's in Texas. And Christian Guzman is a famous YouTuber, has over 1 million subs, I'm sure. And when he walked into that gym, I mean, he said it was amazing, but it was full, absolutely 100% packed with content creators. He said every single person in that gym had a camera. Like the gym was beautiful and everything, but the gym was almost for content creators. He said, you know, it felt weird if you actually went out there to work with no camera, right? Yeah. And of course, he brought his camera because he wants to shoot in this famous gym, and everybody in there was in that gym shooting photos. So when you were talking about everybody showing up, you know, running stairs about to shoot for Reebok or something, it reminded me of that. These places where it's just so focused on content creation. Atlanta isn't like that. So this is interesting to hear from me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you said it yourself, Atlanta is more of like land of podcasters and all that, where you're not necessarily out in the field. Your work is like behind a screen and behind a microphone, right? So that's completely different. Whereas out here, you have people that need to be seen by the right people. And so what gets you seen? The pictures, the videos, the reels, where you're at, who you're associated with, the breakfasts, the Black Excellence breakfasts that you get invited to. All of these things matter. So again, I think I'm not going to say my time here is kind of going to be limited, because I'm honestly letting things play out as they are, but that's not where my focus is. I'm not out here trying to be an actress. I'm not out here trying to be a model. But I'm just out here trying to see what I can glean from it. I heard someone say, oh, maybe it was Melissa Berrien, shout out to her. She said, when I go to a place, I'm not going to a place to see what it can do for me. I'm there to see what I can get from it, right? So I'm here to see what I can take from LA. If that means that this gritty, go get it spirit or whatever I need to have, perhaps that's what I'm picking up when I leave. Like, but I'm taking something from it. I'm not going to let it take me. And that's what I'm gonna stay true to. So
that's what's up. I hit it on that. All right, guys, I'm about to go to dinner, but I did want to jump in and just really salute you, Uncle Stu, for this amazing show you're having with everybody in here. Salute to the Seattle Black veteran, awesome content creator, and of course the beautiful Lauren Melissa. Right? Everybody just waiting for her to come to Atlanta where she needs to be. She's gonna roam around.
I'm still waiting on my invite. For a birthday.
You have been invited numerous times. You never want to come. Where we going?
Was it Fogo de Chao?
Listen, we can go anywhere. Apparently, you can't even go to Atlanta for like it's been 150. So you go anywhere. You go anywhere. It's amazing.
Courtney said, "Who you going out to eat with?"
Beautiful.
Right, she go with me if she ever get her stuff together and come to Atlanta, man. But she, Lauren just everywhere. She got that nose ring. She just everywhere.
I was just gonna say that's another reason why I haven't been on any dates, because I've been ever since I moved here. I've traveled elsewhere. Like I haven't even been in LA for a whole month, like without going anywhere. So like last month I was in Houston. December I went to Detroit, back to Detroit. Then I was in Ohio. Then November I went to Mexico. October I went to New York. So like I'm always going somewhere.
Damn Rolling Stones out here. You just you can't lock them down for nothing. You got to lock them down, all right? You can't do it. All right, guys, I'm going to take off, but listen, thank you.
I got somebody that wants to see you.
I got to eat. As I said, I got to dip out.
I'm
on this New York gangster. I done had sports. He been in the back.
Is he up here? If he's up here, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait on
I had to have him cam up uncam in the back. So he finally uncam. So if you leave and he comes up here, he might start doxing my child.
Bring my man up here. Bring
you can kick me
FYF
out, Uncle Stu.
Sports, man.
You good? Okay.
Yeah. This is a pleasure. Thank you for having me up, and it's always good to
Seattle
see you.
Black veteran,
lead attorney, and Lady Lauren. It's always a blessing. You guys stay safe. Say God bless you and take great care. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Hey, if I don't bring him up, he's gonna be like, Uncle Stu, you know I was driving. You told me I had to uncam. I uncam, and you let the lead attorney go.
Listen, I am glad that you kept me on. Salute FYF Sports Debates. Excellent, brother. So strong, man. Knows all about that sport. I get intimidated when I go on to his channel. I don't really know sports like that. And he'll have a panel of 30 brothers. They all screaming about LeBron or something. I don't know what the hell's going on. How are you doing, FYF Sports Debates?
I'm good. Can y'all hear me? I hopefully my signal ain't get too scrambled up.
Yeah, no, we hear you perfectly. How are things going?
I just wanted to say one thing real quick.
Yes, sir.
The one thing that annoys me the most, man, is because I got a girl, is when we go out and she's asking me to take pictures.
Yeah, man.
The first thing you want, when you first start dating a guy, on the first date, if you asking me to snap pictures, I'm mentally checking out on you, especially if you got options. I'm done. I'm not about to sit here and be out on a date. Guys don't be like taking no pictures on dates. Get your girlfriend.
Wait. Hold on. What do you mean, especially if she has options?
Oh, like, so when I was dating, let's say back when I was at Chicago State hooping, right? I got a lot of options as a college athlete. If I go on a date with a girl, let's say we go to a museum, and she get to asking me to snap selfies, of her on that date, and attention ain't focused in on me. Oh, I'm moving on to the next. I gotta block the number. I'm ghosting you. I'm not doing it. Like, no, guys ain't built like that.
Wait, you mentioned especially if she has options. What does that mean?
No, I got options. I'm saying,
especially that you have options. Oh, yes, okay, I got you. I thought you said if she had options. Okay, gotcha.
Oh, yeah. As a guy, for me, when you got options and you go on a date, man, and you really looking to build with a chick, and the first thing she does is something that annoys you. A lot of guys is not sitting there trying to get angles correct and snap pictures of you at no museum. Most guys don't want to be at the museum in the first place. They probably just doing it to get in your pants and just get on your good side to begin with, if you're being honest. So it's just like, come on, man. Don't annoy the guy right out the gate with snapping the selfies, man.
I'm with Courtney.
Yeah, Courtney said you get the picture too, but I'm gonna push back. I mean, I got confidence. My confidence say, yeah, I'm gonna take it physical. I'm gonna take it with us so I can throw it up on my platform.
I'm not about to.
Or how about this? Or if she posted, comment under the picture, photo cred. Like, you can listen, men, y'all could play it so many different ways. It's the
that is corny.
You corny for not wanting to take the picture.
No, I'm saying that is corny. Why would a guy get under a girl's picture and be like, photo credit? I was the one that took it, y'all.
No, that's
no guy doing that.
Too many words. It's supposed to be a flirtatious, like photo credit, throw a little emoji, side emoji, whatever y'all talked about. Y'all have this inside. You put whatever that's there. See, it's a game. I'm giving you the game. You got to pick it up. It's not as complicated as you making it seem.
You telling me you giving the game, but you ain't went on a date in 4 months.
Here it is.
Come on, man. And she look good too. Look, she a baddie. Ain't went on a date in 4 months. Trying to come on, man.
But here's the thing: I'm the one giving game because y'all don't got it. That's why I haven't been on dates. That shit ain't got nothing to do with me. So
that is cap, man.
That ain't got nothing to do with me. Let's be clear.
That is cap. I know guys that shot they shot. I know dudes are shooting they shot, and you just turning them down.
No, I'm not turning it down. I wish I could. Maybe I'll upload it. No, I'll upload it. One of my So if you become a member on my channel, I will upload it as a member only video, and I will show the messages, and y'all could see what I'm talking about. Y'all think I'm making this up. What I'm not about to do is waste my time with men who cannot hold simple conversation.
Hey, Lee, she done turned the guy down. She done turned She done turned the pharmacist down at CVS. All the regular guys she done turned down. She really waiting on
Sports. When you listen, I have to agree with you. I hear what Lauren is saying, and what Lauren is saying, it makes sense to me logically. Logically, what she's saying makes sense to me. But emotionally, oh, you're being emotional. Emotionally, I'm with you, FYS. I'm just like, Lauren, you're so pretty. And you know that guys are all up in your shit. And you're like, I haven't been on a date in 4 months. Me and FYS Sports are like, that's your fault.
Nah, y'all talk a lot about women not having standards and women letting all these different men into your space, all that jazz.
Hey,
for someone who is protecting my energy, my peace, and my space, if I see that you cannot hold a conversation, I'm not about to waste my time. They don't even get to the point where they ask me out. Like, that's the thing. Yeah. Come correct.
If I pulled up on her in my I8 in LA, she going. The thing is, she going. And the thing is, because you could tell, especially if you're dealing with a girl who's talking about snapping pictures for the gram.
Oh, first off, I think you came in at the wrong moment. I'm telling them what the dating scene is. I never said that is what I desire, because if you follow me on Instagram, you will see that I don't even post pictures like that. So here's the thing. I'm telling you what women in LA do, not what Lauren does. So,
but Lee asked you about your dating failure, your dating experiences.
No, he asked, what is it like in LA? And I told him that this is how women are, and here's why I am not successful, because I am not willing to put my ass and titties on the web. I'm not willing to do all of the things.
Say that a little slower. No, I just think that.
But I'm just saying, I just want you to watch the whole show.
Yeah, but what you're saying is this is an LA thing. This is what's going on in California. This whole dating dynamic because that's the part I caught from the very beginning. Right. This in LA versus any place else that you have been. Yeah, I can kind of see that.
And Uncle Stu is exactly right. We were specifically talking about LA because LA seems like it's its own special case. People are so into social media out there. That is so. All right,
hey, yeah, I gotta get in here. I got a game. I gotta get out of here, man. I wish I could stay, man, and cook with y'all. Salute to Lauren, though, man. She's a beautiful lady, man.
Absolutely.
Wish you the best, man. Got to come on the podcast. Come on to FYF, man. We gonna have a dating show, man. We gonna get you hooked up with one of the brothers on FYF Sports, man. Sunday, man. You got to pull up, man. We're gonna see if we can get you that date in LA.
There's about 30 brothers in there. I don't know if you want to be there. There's about 30 brothers up in there.
And I don't know nothing about sports. I'll be like, okay, what's the colors? And then
how does he get 30 brothers on the screen? That's what I don't understand. They all screaming.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I got to get up out of here.
All right. Shout out to you. Shout out to FYF Sports, man. It's awesome.
Okay, you got a date, Lee. You going on a date tonight? That's where you going. You said you got to go to dinner.
No, I'm just hungry as hell. I ain't got no real date. I was gonna say something though. What else? Oh, I was gonna criticize you.
Yeah, you always do. What's up?
No, listen, I can.
What we doing?
I heard, I'm all about helping YouTubers out, right? This has been my passion. So when I hear something, I always want to jump in. You said that you had a video, which I think is an excellent video. It's an excellent, awesome video. And then you immediately said that you're going to stick it behind a paywall. And I think that is a huge mistake. And it's a mistake that a lot of new content creators do. They try to get value before they give value. I think your video is excellent.
I would do it, but it's for me. For one, people, and this is what I've learned, just because you're in this space, they feel like you are required to give them access to you. Mm-hmm. In some way, yes, but in other ways, I am the one who decides that how much access you get. So what I'm hearing in every panel that I'm on, everyone is always interested in Lauren's dating life, which is perfectly fine. Everybody can be
because you're beautiful. People are naturally going to be attracted to that. They want to know that information.
Yeah, which is fine. And I do share some experiences, but if you want detail, much like everybody else puts it on their Patreon, if you want to see my W-2, if you want to see how many I got, how I got here, then, invest. But you're not going to get the inner workings of me, my conversations for free. That's where the devil is a liar.
I'm telling you guys, what Lauren is saying is wrong, right? You can get away with what Lauren is saying once you're big. Once you're big, she's absolutely right. But if you have, I know you got a lot of subscribers. If you got 12 subscribers talking about, no, if you want to know my inner workings, you have to join this and join that. That is not the way to do YouTube.
And
guys.
I agree for small YouTubers. And one would argue that, yes, I am small. However, I'm not doing it for the clicks. Again, my page is more on authenticity, right? And to protect some level of like what I want to reveal to the world, like you're just not going to get this for free.
But
Like,
anybody in your membership can see that video and do a reaction video, do fair use, and then it's out, right? So guys, do not put stuff on the internet and thinking, oh, only a select group of people is going to see this. It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
But I'm not willing.
I'm not talking to you. You can do whatever you want. I'm
Yeah.
talking to the other YouTubers that might see this, because I know Uncle Stu is a student in the game. Intentional Millionaire is a student of the game. And so I just want people to put people on game on this, because I do see this coming up where smaller content creators want to, oh, you got to do this and do that. And that's fine, but it's gonna retard your growth on the platform. People value people who are open and honest and authentic. And when it seems like you're trying to hide something for money, people don't really, that might not be the case. That might not be the intention at all. It's just how it comes across to people. And people don't appreciate that.
Let me ask you this, then, Lee. When you define a splitting of content between Patreon and what you're putting on YouTube, wouldn't you say that something similar to when I say the way you do it, where you, let's say, dropping game on the business aspect, or you're dropping, heavier knowledge when it comes to finance, or even like I'm gonna have Nielsen counseling on my show, but there's certain things that Nielsen can say on the platform, and there's other things that you can say in the Patreon, which is more personal, more private. Wouldn't you say that's what you're putting your Patreon for that more, higher level learning and more intimate setting versus a large platform? Or do you say, wait?
Half and half. When you say higher learning, yes, but not higher learning about me. I've told some very personal stories, none of which are on the Patreon. They're all on the internet, right? Now, for educational stuff that no one's going to watch anyway, then I will put that on the Patreon. No one watches my YouTube stuff. So I'll put that on the Patreon because only serious people are going to watch it. But when it talks about me and my thought process and me being open, none of that stuff is on the Patreon. Now, if you want to pay a high price to talk to me personally, get direct access to me one-on-one, then you can do that on the Patreon. So that's there. And the educational stuff is there about YouTube. But personal stuff, personal stories that I've told about me, about my cases, those are never behind a paywall.
Can I just add a caveat? I hear what you're saying, and I have to double down on my thing. And I know you're talking to everybody else, but
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just talking to other people.
I'm saying this, for me, access is big for me. I'm like, yes, people can take it, but also when someone uses my content, I'll get notified. Did you approve this? If not, you can flag it, take it down, whatever. And I'm not really concerned about that. But for me, is if you want a level of access to me, then that requires you to invest another level of like investment to me. And it's not that I'm out here trying to give game behind the scenes, because that's not it. To me, it's all about just access. If I'm going to share certain things, and it's not like I've kept everything is an open book on my channel. I talk about everything. So it's not that I'm keeping certain stories from people, but it's like, if you want to see receipts, like people are like, let me see, what are you people saying? Like, I'm not gonna, just because you asked, I'm not gonna show you. Now that may be different for you because that's how you operate, but me as a woman, I'm not finna do that. Like, I'm gonna have to have something for it, and that's just how I feel.
Anybody can run their channel any way they want, right? So no, it's all personal preference. I'm just telling you what works best for the algorithm, what works best for people, how people view things. But you are, at the end of the day, it's your content, and you are free to put it behind a paywall. You can put it behind 10 paywalls. You can make it all private. Like, it's all individual. I'm just saying, for the content creators listening to this, you know, what's going to work best in general, but it's always a personal preference. So if you have personal information, Lauren, and you want to stick that behind the paywall, I mean, that's absolutely your decision, and it should be. Like, it's your content, it's your story. You can absolutely do what you want with it.
But no, now let me ask you this, just okay, like me being a man and the male content creators, would you separate that thought? Because, like, let's say somebody like myself, fine, you want to know all about my life, no problem. But for me, I'm a male. Would you still recommend that for women too? And I'm only saying that I'm looking more from the safety aspect versus just straight content aspect.
Here's what I've seen,
okay,
personally, and firsthand and secondhand. If you press record on a camera and put that recording on the internet, you are immediately introducing risk, no matter your gender. You know, men have been doxxed to hell. Women have been doxxed to hell. Someone sent Tommy Sotomayor a picture. Someone took a picture of himself putting his hand on Tommy Sotomayor's mother's shoulder at, like, the grocery store and sent it to Tommy Sotomayor. Right?
Wow.
So that it doesn't matter your gender. Right?
Okay.
People are crazy out here, no matter whether you're a man or woman or in between. And it's not like, you know, women are more at risk necessarily than men, because men can get it too. All right. So if you want to be super safe as a woman or a man, stay off the goddamn internet. Because
Right.
once you get on this thing, you know, there's no controlling your content. People are going to make up stories about you. People are going to dox you to hell. I've been doxed to hell. People have made up all these damn stories about me. Now, I never respond to them. I like the Kevin Samuels approach, and I never respond to them. But it's not like, oh, you're a male, so you're not going to get doxed to hell. Oh, you're a male, so no one's going to seek out your mother and start taking photos with her. Wow. Right? If you choose to be on the internet, then you're choosing something for real. And your gender is not going to save you. And putting stuff behind a paywall is not going to save you.
Gotcha.
Right? But again, it's your content. You can choose where you can put it. You can choose to make it unlisted. You can choose to make it private. You can choose not to upload it. You can choose to upload it. You know, just people ask me, hey, Lee, you know, why is your channel, you know, experience some success? And I've looked around and I've looked at my channel and been introspective. And what I hear a lot of people saying is, hey, man, you're authentic. And you give us a chance to kind of get to know you. You know, I told a story about how I fucked a moose. That was very personal. It was very embarrassing. That was an embarrassing story. I absolutely could have stuck that behind a paywall. I could have put that in my Patreon, right? And 300 people would have laughed. But instead of 300 people laughing, I put it on the internet, and that video might have 100,000 people, 80,000 of which are men. And if you read the comments, so many people, so many men are like, Lee, I cannot believe you told the story. It happened to me. I can't believe you told the story. This happened to me in high school. This happened to me in college. This happened to my brother. This happened to my best friend, and he deleted himself, right? If we release stories about ourselves and not stop trying to get value from it, oh, you got to pay me $5. Like, if you just put out your content, you're going to get it back tenfold, because people are going to be like, damn, I went through the same stuff that Lauren did, or I went through the same stuff that Uncle Stu did. I'm getting the same stuff. Let me subscribe. Let me follow. Let me support. This live streaming stuff, this video stuff, it's about support. It's about community support, community building. And you are always going to get more building and support and love. It's about support. It's about, to the extent that you make yourself more available. But, you know, you do that, you know, I don't know. It's all personal preference at the end. And if you want to make a video and stick it on private or unlisted or in memberships, Patreon, you're more than willing, you know, you're more than willing to do it. I just get nervous when smaller content creators do it. If Kevin Samuels wants to make a video and then put it behind a paywall, it makes absolute sense. He already has 1 million subscribers. But a lot of people that consult with me, they say, how do I get more subs? How do I get more views? And when you put the cart before the horse, when you seek investment before you give value, you're doing it. You're hustling backwards. You're doing it the opposite way. Now, maybe you have a reason. Maybe you say, I don't care about the subs. I don't care about the views. I care about, personal safety or whatever. And that's absolutely fine. Right. But if you say, oh, well, I just want people to invest in me before I invest in them, you're doing YouTube exactly wrong, because YouTube is all about giving value first and you get your investment on the back end. So that's what I would say to the newer content creators coming up in this space. It's the number one rule of YouTube. It's give value, but give value first. Right. Gotcha. Having said that, let me get out of here. Salute to Perry Unlikely, man. Perry Unlikely made me some money and in January took it all back. Boy, January got us all fucked up. Boy, I mean, God, this is so rough, man.
It's all right, man. It's starting to come back. I've had I've had a really good 3-4 days. Very, very good.
Man, I don't even look at that account anymore. I'm just like, God, just decimated, right? But yeah. So shout out to Perry Unlikely. Shout out to Versatile, and of course the beautiful Laura, Melissa, and Uncle Stu. Again, thank you so much for having me up, man. I really appreciate it.
It was an honor.
Lauren, what are you shaking your head for? Lauren, like, are you pissed off?
No, I'm good.
Oh, he's Laura, I love you. Just come to Atlanta. I'll make it up to you.
I'm upset.
Oh, she ain't even coming to Atlanta no more.
Oh no, I wasn't saying that about Atlanta.
Laura, I'm just teasing.
No, but you're good.
I do give free unsolicited game on this YouTube thing, but it's important to me that and Stu has a lot of YouTubers on here that are really looking to grow their channels. And so when I hear something, I always want to make sure to give free game and not try to stick it behind a paywall necessarily, or at least give it first. And that's a huge one. That's a huge one when I see what you just said. And you have your own reasons. And I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying that for other people, the advice that you are using for your personal situation just might not apply to their situation. That's all I'm saying. I think your decision is absolutely great for you. All right. So we still good.
Good.
Oh, well, you can't say nothing to a black woman. All right, listen, guys. Shout out to everybody, and again,
lies.
I'll just let you have this. Okay.
No, she had to give it.
Right. I appreciate your.
Listen, I'm about to DM you. Listen, you Laura. I'm telling you, Laura. What I'm saying is, you're right, Laura. You're right for your channel. I just know we got Perry on here. We got Uncle Stu up here. We got Intentional Millionaire. That's all I'm saying, guys. For everybody else, give value first, guys. Give value first. But it's always your personal decision. All right. Shout out to Versatile. Shout out to Laura, Perry Unlikely, and my man Uncle Stu. Thank you so much for having me up here. Really appreciate it. Shout out to everybody. All right, y'all. Y'all keep it rolling. I'm a ninja watch.
Now, am I saying your name right? Okay, Versatile Shika. Am I saying that right?
You said it right the first time. It was Shakia.
Shakia, all right.
You said that earlier.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
I missed a lot. I still had the video on, but I ended up getting on the phone, and he was talking my ear off for like the entire time. But I had to come on. I was listening for like the last 20 minutes or so, and the last guy, not the lead attorney, the one before that came on. I had to bring some female energy for you, Lauren. Don't be talking to all these men by yourself, because that's when they start jumping on you. Don't do that.
Look, I even put it where the women's on top. Me and Perry Unlikely, we at the bottom. And I understood. I cleared it up when I
it wasn't you, Unc. It wasn't you, Unc.
Okay.
It was that last one talking about he went on a date with somebody and he thought it was corny of her or something like that. It was a rap because she wanted pictures. I mean, men, you cannot play like you want a good woman, right? And then the first mistake she make, you judging her to the fullest capacity. Like, come on now. How do you think people stay married for 50 years? They don't just give up.
And I honestly
think
don't
that was
think,
real petty.
Yeah, and I honestly don't think taking a picture is worth saying she's not for me, because why would you not take the opportunity to, you know, be like, you look good today, let me take a picture. It don't even have to be about what she's going to do with the picture after the fact. But if she wants a picture because she thinks she looks great, why not take the picture? Y'all got to get out of y'all heads. Everything is not about you. Now, you know, if again, it's that confidence. It goes back to the confidence. If you don't like the fact that she's going to post a picture and not say she was out with you, or post a picture and make it seem like she wasn't on a date, again, that's a confidence issue. But if she thinks she looks great and she wants to take the liberties of, you know, taking a picture at a museum, whatever, just it's a freaking picture.
Right.
Yeah.
She must be married.
Earlier, I said, even the lead said there's a logic behind that. When I asked you, you know, is that women there, and you explained it, it made logical sense. But again, I'm not in California. So how things operate in California, how it operates here, two totally different
I mean,
things.
I would question it if I was in Colorado or something and I'm like, I want to take a picture. It's like, why? Like, but you know what I mean? Like, LA is completely different, and yes, your environment is different. And so again, I think he jumped into the conversation late because he didn't know that I was speaking in context of what it's like out here, not specifically my experience, but that's what happens when you just jump in.
But now,
so what is it that men really want? Because it seemed like they act like they want a real woman that's real good for them, know how to do everything, and then all of a sudden he's judging her. It's like he low key really just want a Barbie hoe.
Let me. Oh, and I wanted to say this because you brought Kay name up, so I'm gonna put you, and my niece already knows she on it. Kay been avoiding me. Kay don't think I could survive. Kay been avoiding me, so I've been trying to get AK on my show, and she been avoiding me. She be hanging out with all of y'all, and I can't get on the show. So y'all help me pressure Kay to come on my show. Very unlikely. Your boy says stay on code.
I'm gonna try. Y'all know how. You know, I get out of line sometimes.
You know, look, you see, he showed up. He already ready just to take the card from you.
No, I just came up real quick. You know, after going till what, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
mad early. I just want.
He was on a live last night. We all did a big financial live last night. It was really awesome, teaching about money, trying to get people into the mind of money and into the realities of what having money, managing money, and being able to produce money, what that really entails. And a lot of people we notice in this space, they'll say they have a business, but they really have a hobby. They say they got money, but they don't know how to make the money, manage the money, and then allow money to make money for them. So that was the conversation. So
absolutely,
we are trying to have that. We are trying to have that.
I wanted to. I just want to show support and shout out to you all for both. And I really just had one question for Lauren, and then I'll hop off. So what I want to know. How do you balance and I don't, not necessarily just, I'm not even talking about the intimacy aspect, but that's one thing I hear a lot is we see what men are always saying they want, right? Can't be for the streets, but at the same time, got to give it up after one date. See, to me, that's a conflict there. So what I'm asking more so is just in general, how do you handle, with aspirations to be married? What's your approach? Not even, like I said, not necessarily intimacy, but just in general of these are the things that I have to hold true to, whatever they are. Is it for you? Is it based off of the feel of a certain person, or is it just I'm going in? These things are the things that I got to hold true to, no matter what it is. And if you're not down with it, you're not down with it. Or, is that kind of a struggle you see in different ways in dating where people just whatever it is, they kind of want to date and they say they're this, but then they find out they're just trying to get it in, a lot of faking and stuff. But just how do you balance that basically? Because I know there's a lot of fakers out here. So I was just curious.
Yeah, I think that is one of the reasons why one would say I'm not six, but the last caller who said, well, we've been there 4 months, you ain't been on a date. And that's one of the reasons why, is because I do have that aspect of I'm not willing to be for the streets, if you will. Like, I'm not willing to sleep on a first date, sleep with the person on the first date, or even the third date. Like, that's not something that I desire to do. And if I get any indication that that's what you are looking for, then you can miss me with it. And so, yeah, I do in a conversation. So sure, there are men that are knocking on my door trying to talk to me. Sure, I'm not going to lie about that, but it's the approach. And that's what I'm always arguing, is how you step to a woman. And I'm not saying give lip service and tell her what she want to hear for a week so that you can get in the pants, because I'm not putting a time limit on it, because men could show their representative for 3 months and then all of a sudden he turned out to be a F-boy, you know?
Right.
So I'm not going to put a time frame on it, but there are certain things that I look for. Whereas like the conversations I had, maybe 1 or 2 guys just off rip say, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a wife, or I'm looking for this, versus a man say, oh, I see that thigh tattoo. Or they'll say, like, they'll lead to something that led to something sexual. And for me, that's number one indication that you have no desire to know me on a deeper level, because you're stuck on the surface. Yes, the picture is what gets you in the inbox. Yes, the picture is what attracts you. But once you're in the inbox, what are you doing with that? And that's where men literally drop the ball. So that's what I mean by, in the dating scene, on the dating scene right now, what I'm frustrated with is men just not being upfront and honest. If you want to smash, just say, I'm looking to smash. So I actually commend the guys who on the app say, I'm not looking for a commitment, I just want to have a good time. Kudos. That's good for you. Thank you for saying that, so I can swipe the other way, versus going into it and they trying to see what you want. So what you looking for in a man, what you looking for on here, to hear what you have to say so then they can align with what you just said. So those are like some red flags that I look for, or that I see. And that's why it doesn't go past the inbox. Okay. Because if I can already tell what you about to be on, why even put myself in a position to even be like, I don't want to hurt his feelings in person, and I'm not even about to put myself in that situation.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. The reason I asked, I was going through a when I met my wife, I don't want to call it a renewal, but I was in, like, spiritually, I was on a different direction. I was going in a different direction. So for me, I had already been given orders, like, God had told me, like, look, you're going to do this the right way. And so actually what's interesting, I was on the flip side where, like, it was a personal conversation. Like, look, the next person I send you, I want you to wait till you get married. Now, this was very foreign to me, right? But my thought was like, oh my God, these women are gonna think I'm crazy. But I met my wife who was on that path already, right? So I always wonder, because for me it was easy, because it was gonna be that way anyway. I was actually surprised that she was gonna be down for it as well, and we didn't until we got married. And that's, so all these myths and all this out here it's not what people say it is. But I was interested because before that it was kind of different, but when I shifted up, I don't really know what it's like to go through that battle, right? And it's not typical for a man to be like that. So I know on the flip side with women, I figured that generally is probably the biggest issue, that they're just getting the pants, and that's really what it's about. And how many times can you let someone in the pants before you're just for the streets, right? And and then your value, right, is lower, and so it's just like this. It seems like it's just a cycle for certain people. So I was just curious.
Was you here? Kind of when I say super early, was you here super early? Because there was something that she said that even you, Intentional Millionaire, all of us said collectively, as a group. She talked about the lack of confidence in a lot of males, and I think you and I definitely have seen it where it's not that, confidence. Like, hey, I own this business. I've been in business X amount of time. You can hear that this person is telling the truth about being in business or doing this, doing that. And it was that lack of confidence. And I think that, when she said that, I couldn't really push back, because we also said the same thing. Like, okay, we know that there are men that are in these great spaces. They know what they're talking about. They got receipts. They can show you, results. They can show you receipts. But then you got a whole lot that doesn't. It was also something which is, I guess, for me to take the deeper dive, is a lot of the things being spoken about is it coming out of California? Because some stuff is like, okay, wait a minute. I know certain things and I can agree with certain things, but then there's some other stuff and it's like, okay, wait a minute. Where's this stuff coming from? But see, she kind of opened up a door, because I had to bring back the last conversation when I said, we got to caveat this to what's going on in California, and it goes back to a lot of arguments I used to make before when people would say, this is all, and I go, wait a minute, New York is not California. What was going on in the hip hop era in New York was not what was going on. It was two totally different worlds. And she's still showing me there's still two totally different worlds, And so that's why I'm always saying, I want to take the deep dive beyond talking points and general, because I'm trying to take it to, well, where is it coming from so that we can address the issue, So that's what was spoken much earlier, So it was like, okay, I'm seeing the duality on both sides, because let's say you got the woman that wants you to spend, what'd you say, Laura, almost 150 to go out on a date, So how do you weigh, is this woman for real to spend this $150 that, let's be honest, that's not some easy money to come up with just for her to maybe get to dinner and leave because she was just hungry that night. You know what I'm saying? So you got this crazy battle that I can see both sides on.
See, I think I also want to mention, you have like two different types of women. You have the women that are more hung up on who's paying for what, who's like all that stuff. And then you have other women who is like, who's going to step to me correct. I heard somebody say, well, if you ain't gonna have sex, then why you pay for dinner after the third date? I'm not concerned about who's paying for what. Y'all, people fail to realize that women have been single until they're married. Meaning when they go out to eat without a man, who has to pay? She does. She's not a stranger to paying for her own meal. Now, if as a man entering into going on a date, and finances is an issue, or this whole argument of who paying who, just don't take nobody on a date. Just keep your money in your pocket and find something else to do. But for me, in my life, I am not having an argument of who paying for what I got to do. That's not me, but I'm more so focused on what is the conversation like beforehand and then during, if you make it past the inbox or the DM or whatever. Like this whole who paying for what that's to me a very high school, very late 20s argument that in my 30s I'm not interested in, because again, I could pay for my own meal. If that's what we stuck on, we got a lot of growth to do.
Right. Let me ask you a question. With that being said, do you think that the numbers, because again, I'm not out there anymore, do you think the numbers has kind of went against the grain? For example, you are actually the 20% of the quote unquote good women, and you're up against, let's say, 80% of the bad one, and it's like you're dealing with that. Because I'm not going to lie to you, when I was in the dating world, and this is in my 50s, it was retarded. Stuff that I was seeing, I couldn't believe myself if I compared it to when I was in my 20s. So it's like, yeah, the women has changed. But again, I'm not into all the data, facts, statistics, because I can only go on my own experience, which is anecdotal. So I'm asking you, in your experience, especially in your age group, would you say you're basically just the 20%, where some of the other sisters are in more in the 80% category?
Well, you got to look at what's saturated right now. The women that you hear being described in these spaces and on these podcasts, that's what you see everywhere. It's the 20%, or I'm just going to throw out that number because you did.
Right.
We're not controlling the narrative, unfortunately. And the reason why is because we're being, in a way, overlooked. And because it goes back to the beginning, if social media is driving the way in which we see each other, the ones that get the most clicks, the most likes, are the ones who's showing everything, which in turn are saturating the narrative. So you're not going, like, if, again, I always go back, if you go to my page, you will rarely see a picture or video of me on my feed. I just don't do that.
Right.
And I would argue that most women that are in the 20% are not posting pictures of themselves every single day. Some will. But if they got business to tend to, if they got their own business, they got stuff that they are doing every day, they're not trying to say, oh, shoot, I didn't post my 3 posts a day. They're not thinking about that. Social media is just a secondary thing for them, as it is for me. And I'm just speaking for myself. But I mean, yeah, you won't see, and maybe the voices of the 20% won't be loud enough because it's not what you see every day. People want to talk about what's popping. People want to talk about the Instagram models. People want to talk about the what's hot, right? All of this stuff. And yeah, that's what gets them clicks. So you're not going to hear the narratives like mine.
Right. Let me say this to you, and then I'm gonna definitely give it up. Then I need you, and I need the Courtney Michelle's. I need the 20%ers. I'm just using that figuratively, but I need the 20%ers that's not afraid to come to this platform and communicate, because that way you do have a voice, not only with your own platform, but I got 70% men. And I like to believe that out of the 70% of men, and like I said, I have an awesome group of men that can show receipts that want to be married, but guess what? They don't get a chance to see the 20%. And I'm just being honest with you. I know who they are. So my yell to any woman, if you really in the 20 percentile, I need them not to be afraid to come to Uncle Stu's platform.
Hey, Uncle Stu, I'm gonna say this real quick. I'm gonna hop off. Shout out to We Ain't Signing.
Salute, my brother.
Salute, man. I just want to point this out real quick, and I hate to put them on the spot. Some of the comments, which I don't have an issue with it, but the whole 3-date thing. I'm an investor, right? I'm talking about being with my wife for 50 years, right? I'm just not worried about 3 dates. And I bet, I don't know, but I bet the intentional millionaire, who's also an investor, is just not that caught up. People with long-term sight, how are you so caught up on 3 dates? I don't understand it. Yeah. I mean, I have no problem with it. Like I said, I'm married, but I just never had that mindset. I just never was hey, I got to get that before 3 dates. If I wanted a wife, so it's like, I'm trying to spend the rest of my life with you. I'm not really thinking about this whole thing of 2 or 3 dates, but that's just me. And I use the intentional millionaire because he actually, I think he's currently, he's wanting a wife as well. So I say that to say, like, the brothers on the panel that we talked last night, I got to think they've got, just like anything else, right? You try to make a quick buck, it don't last that long. So even my investing, I'm looking 20, 30 years down the road. Why would I not do that? If I'll do it with my money, you damn sure believe I'm going to do it when it comes to my wife, right? So I just wonder if other people with that kind of that long-term thinking have the same thing in mind.
Yeah, so, especially if you. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No. I was going to say that, and then I definitely want you to chime in on this. And Perry, let's add. I'm gonna take brown eyes out of the picture. All of us got something to lose, so we can't be dealing with somebody that don't have some type of substance. And because we are investors, we're always looking to add to our portfolio that's going to do what? Bring us up. So it's like, you don't want a woman that cannot add and produce more than what you already have.
Can I butt in real quick?
Sure. Yeah.
Because this is assuming that people, And this is how dating should be, but this is assuming that people are dating with the intention to get married. People are not out here dating to be married. They're out here dating to smash. And again, that goes back to just being honest, because if you were out here dating with intention to be married, then one would say my 3 dates of paying for whatever, my return is greater when she becomes my wife. I think after this first day, or maybe even the second day, you know whether or not you see a future with this person, or you have any intention or will to want to learn, to grow for this person to be your wife. That is if you know, if you're dating with intention. But again, that's why people have to be honest. If you're dating just to smash, just say that. But if you're dating to find a wife, then like I said, that who gonna pay for what, how many dates, that doesn't matter.
So I'm a ballot on that one. 7 Mile thinks I'm pandering to women. No, I'm married and I have money. There's no one to pander to. I'll holler at y'all later. Hey, thank you.
All right. Talk to you later. Okay.
All right, we ain't signing.
Uncle Stu, how are you? Good morning.
Doing well.
Good morning, ladies. Sorry, give me 1 second. So yeah, I this is a quite interesting topic. I definitely I'm sorry, can you give me 2 seconds? Sorry. I'll skip me for right now.
Okay. Salute to everyone in the chat log. We went from having a intellectual conversation with Lawrence to spun, but we bringing it right back. This is what I am going to say to everybody in the chat once again. I want everybody to understand that Uncle Stu don't stick to talking points. I want everybody to understand that I want the authentic conversation. And authentic is everybody got their own experience, and everybody has a right to speak from their real experience, not from anecdotal, not from assumptions, not from all of this. I want to have the authentic conversation. And in order to have the authentic conversation, I got to assume that whatever someone is saying, they're authentically speaking to me. I ain't got to be impressed by anything. My attitude is I want the authentic conversation. And when someone is speaking their authentic truth and it doesn't align with our personal experience, we can't dismiss it. We can't go looking for a talking point to tell that person they're not right or they're wrong. Can't do it. You can assume things about me. And guess what? That's not my narrative. You can assume things about Lauren. And guess what? That may not be her narrative. That may not be her story. It's not capping. It ain't none of that. In order to communicate, we got to get to the heart of matters. She said early in this conversation, her only issue is men speaking with confidence and leading. And if you're that leader that she ain't never seen, there's no need to get offended she never talked to you. If you are that leader and you've never been around her, you can't deny her personal experience. Doesn't always mean she's lying. That's her experience. She's never once come on this platform, and I've watched her. She's never belittled black men. She's never said that they the worst things in America. She wants a black man. She ain't never said nothing negative about all these black men is this and da-da-da. That's her experience. And we can't always deny a person's experience. Maybe you never met a woman that is intentional when it comes to marriage.
Okay. Can I hop in on that point?
Yeah.
If I may. Okay. So this is what I will say. So there was the point about the dating and the $100 and things like that, and the 20%. I think we really have to kind of understand that 20% is not a lot, and you don't hit the 20% first, right? you have to go through a lot of eggs. You go on dates, and you get a lot of you get a lot of, oh, they was just here for the meal or whatever, right? You have to work through that. And so then there's a question of, is it worth going through all that just for 20%? Now I'm speaking as a married man, right? I'm speaking as a married man. But is it worth going through all that just to get to 20%? Second, when we talk about marriage and being intentional for marriage, I did not know that my wife was good for me after dating her for the third date. I did not, right? I can I can't speak for other people, but no, we had to, she had to prove herself and I had to vet her. And the 3-day vetting period was not long enough for me to say, okay, I'm going to be with you for the rest of my life, right? So it takes longer than 3 days, right? And I'm pretty sure most people who are married will say the same. And so basically what I'm saying to this is that if you are intentional to getting married, you got to meet men halfway, especially in this climate in America, especially in this climate of Me Too, catcalling, things like that, right? You gotta meet men halfway. For example, me and my wife, we got to know we dated, but we kind of got to know each other, right? She paid the bill sometimes, I paid the bill sometimes. We split the bill, right? We didn't let, and I have money. I have always had money, right? But it wasn't just about that, but it was just about taking time to getting to know each other, right? And one of the things that she insisted on was that, you know what, I'll take care of you sometimes, or we'll just pay whatever, right? Because I want to get to know you. I want to build that rapport. I want to see beyond the expectations of dating, right? Do we get along? Are our values aligned, et cetera, et cetera? And that's what she said to me, right? She made efforts, right? And I think women also need to make effort, especially in this climate, right? Because at the end of the day, for you, you're just saying, well, we're the 20%, blah, blah, blah. But men have to run the gauntlet of the 80% to get to 20%, right? And then on top of that, the 20% of women, you have to meet men halfway, especially in this climate, and especially for men who have something to lose, right? Because you one thing I really want to express here is that men who have things to lose, businesses, positions, whatever, they're going to be much more cautious, right? Because at the end of the day, finances are important, positions are important, network things, all the things that you worked in and made money for, spent your life getting to achieve. You can lose that in an instant nowadays. And I'll leave it at that.
Well, I just want to say, Lauren, keep up the great work.
Thank you.
And knowing your worth.
Yes.
Do not rush.
Mm-hmm.
Because the right man will come.
Absolutely. I believe that. I'm not losing hope at all. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. Like, listening to that whole breakdown, I hear what you're saying. We ain't signing. But I think everything that you said is implying that the 20% isn't putting in any work, or we're not doing the, like, I don't know what you're implying with the 20%.
Yeah, I'm just saying meet halfway, right? Just meet.
Right. And you're saying
halfway.
that the 20% doesn't meet halfway. How? In what regard?
Well, I think Uncle Stu just said one thing, right? Like, it's hard to find you, right? Right. That's, one of the things he literally just said was that it's hard to find you.
So,
number two, you okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, then number two, you also have to be intentional, right? Like, after 3 dates, I don't know if I want to marry you. How can a man know after 3 dates to marry a person?
You didn't answer my question though. What do those 2 points have to do with meeting halfway? Because I would argue that me putting myself out there in terms of on a dating app and doing the necessary things to be noticed, if you will, is put like meeting halfway. Right? I mean, and then so I guess I'm trying to figure out, what do you mean by, because I would say that the 20% meets more than halfway. If anything, we give chances to men that really shouldn't have a chance, because the 20%, and I would argue, are the ones who are actually have business to tend to, right? They're not just out here looking for a quick come up, looking for somebody to finance their life. They're actually, trying to balance life. As a single person, I'm working, but I'm also trying to be intentional in dating, which means I don't have time to be trying to kiss frogs and F boys. So you do have to do some sifting and sorting, if you will. So I'm just want to figure out what you mean by like meeting halfway specifically.
And when I use the 20%, I need everybody to understand. I only use that number anecdotally. I don't have actual data, facts, and statistics. So I just only used it anecdotally, only to kind of see what the argument is, because honestly speaking, I'm not out there in the dating scene. So I don't know what's happening out there. I can only listen to what people are saying, so it's like, I don't want everybody to be stuck in the 20%. I just use that anecdotally. But, again, I'm just listening.
Yeah. I think his audio is messed up. I think he said he can't hear anybody. But that's all I had to say to that. But I appreciate you.
I would like to say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. A lot of times, people just out here just chasing after whatever is the most popular or is popping or whatever they call it these days. But what they fail to realize is that there are levels to every single thing, not just money. Okay, so it's different categories of people. Everybody should not be chasing the same thing because we are like different. We don't fit in everywhere. Everybody cannot go out and get parts put onto them and sell their bodies and be Instagram models and things like that, whether it's men or women. So why are we not looking for people who is like more of our status type? Why we keep on trying to step outside of our lane? That's the problem.
Exactly. I think people, and this is what I've picked up for like literally every panel, they feel like just because a man is in my inbox, I should give every man an opportunity. And that's where I draw the line. I'm not. If I could see that they don't align with me, with values, with my standards, if like I can tell, I ask the questions. And if they don't answer it in a way that I feel like is going to benefit me in terms of creating wealth, legacy, the family, then why do I need to entertain them? Just because somebody is in my inbox do not mean I need to give you the time of day. And I want every man to understand that it doesn't matter how fine a woman is. She can have 1,000 options. She is not obligated to entertain every option.
And if she was to do that, she would be like the worst person in the worst. Like she would be like a big hoe, right? Or smut or something like that. But when she has standards, she's still getting complaints when she has standards as well as when she's just putting it all out there and not caring.
Let me say this both to the ladies and to the chat. Number one, this is why I said, hey, explain this to me. Explain that to me. Because here's the reality. And like I said, I have a mastermind group, and we sit there and we actually look online. We actually look at numbers. We actually look at data, although we're not stuck in the statistics. Why? Because our attitude is simply this. Statistics may say this. We want to live above the statistic, point blank, plain and simple. And so in living above the statistic, we look at what do we have to do on the ground level to build and develop not only our platform, but the people, and give them value. There's 3 areas in which we are looking at. Area number 1, finance. Because if a man ain't got his money right and is managing right, there's nothing, he's lost. Then I have the mastermind group that deals with the social aspect of what's going on. And what is the social aspect? Can you orally communicate? Do you know how to express yourself? Do you know how to go out there and sell yourself? That's self-development, self-building, self-pride. And then the third aspect, which we haven't really dealt with, is the physical health, eating right, living right, etc. I don't deal with talking points. I deal with the actual facts of narratives. So I don't try to deny a person's narrative or their story. I try to get to the heart of the matter so that we can go ahead and deal. There's two different aspects in which I look at the reality. One, what age am I looking at? Two, can you actually hold a conversation and explain to me where you are? Three, I look at truth over fiction. So let me give you an example. I'm 54. I've lived life. I've seen life. I know life. I know pain when I hear it. I know lies when I hear it. I know when someone isn't really living out their truth when I hear it. I've gone through that maturity. So I've had a woman on this panel and she's still up there. As a matter of fact, my mastermind group said, bring her back again. She was open, she was honest. She talked about her growing up. She talked about her marriage. She talked about things she did in the marriage. She talked about, the man leaving her. And little by little, I had to show her part in every part of that relationship. By the time we got through, she really saw it and said, I'm going to go get some therapy. And when I followed up with her 3 days later, she actually went to go get that therapy. So we're going to see later on, how is everything working? So when you heard me say earlier, hey, if you're a part of the 20% up here, and this is what's going on, is the struggle, the fact that you got this 80% population acting crazy. Could be the same, could be the flip. But that's what I'm dealing with. So, again, it got flipped to that direction. I know men right now who don't date. Why? Because they tired of seeing the 80% and they don't get a chance to see the 20%. I know this particular individual struggle because I see it every single day. Every day. So I know this person ain't lying to me when it comes to the dating world. I know what he got. I know what receipts he got. I know his education. I know him. You know what I'm saying? Like, know him like I'm grabbing this bottle. But I also know his reality. Simple standards he can't find. So I know that on the male side, it is a struggle. I'll tell you my personal experience dealing with women. Women tell me, I want a man to have this, this, and this. I'll have all of that. But then she comes with so much emotional baggage, financial baggage, social baggage, and want me to take on all that baggage. I'm like, oh, no. I'm sorry, I don't do that. No. You want me to be this type of person, but you this type of woman. It don't work that way. One of the things, even being in this YouTube space, one thing I have recognized, and I'm going to say, salute to Tasha K. I didn't do no videos on her. Don't plan to. That's not my content. But I have to admit, it was the first time I've ever seen any woman, and when I say, I'm saying big content creator, actually hold another woman accountable for that situation. Because most women would have took that girl's narrative and took off with it. Tasha K didn't do that. So I think what we have is, and this goes back to the original conversation Lauren and I had, which was, if we got all of this on one side and we got all of this on this side, how do we bring the truth into a dark world? So if I'm trying to introduce the 20%, and again, 20% is anecdotal. I don't have to sit. I'm just saying, okay, if that's the case, here's my platform. I need the 20% women to show up and show out so that that part can be seen. Because if I don't see it, I don't know it's out here. Am I making sense, or am I just rattling on?
No, you're making sense.
Okay, so this is my struggle even on my platform, because if women tell me over and over, I don't see no good men, I can't find no good men, I can't find no good men, and I'm constantly showing you, oh, here's one, here's another one, here's another one, here's another one, I'm destroying the lies about good men. And I'm gonna let you know, I don't just let any old man come up here and say, I'm the good man. You better believe that as a man, I've already done the vetting process. I'm looking at their life and I'm looking for results. Show me the results of who you are, then I know what you are. If you just giving me books and no results, that don't mean anything to me. I'm about the result. Even looking on this platform, if I educate one person, I've created a result. If I get off of here and brothers want to email me, I got one brother right now, and I'm about to use one of his videos, 7 Mile. He's just starting a YouTube page, got maybe about 4 or 5 videos up. But I saw one of his videos. I said, you know what? I'm gonna use that on one of my Q&A lives, because I want people to understand. And this goes back to this word apology. Your success is your greatest apology. And I need men and women, but especially brothers, make your success the apology. Do what you got to do to be better. Don't sweat. If your mama wasn't there, maybe your mama wasn't there because it was going to help you to be the better man that you need to be. Make your L, which most people call a loss, make your L the lesson. Don't cry about it. Be about it. Be who you claim you don't see. Now I'm going to talk to the brothers. Be who you claim you don't see. If you claim you don't see political leaders, then become a political leader. Don't cry about it. Be about it. If you claim you don't see fathers, don't cry about it. Be the best damn father you can be. Period. Be who you claim you don't see. For me, I am trying to be the best businessman, the best uncle, the best brother, the best father that I can be to help somebody else be that person. Yes, I had a mother and father. Hallelujah, praise the Lord. But guess what? My dad worked most of his life. So it was just like being in a single parent home, because my dad was out there making money. My dad was out there producing money so that I can have the life that I have. I don't cuss a lot, but I be damn, I tell my dad, you owe me an apology because you wasn't in my life, because you was out there getting the bag, making money, and keeping a roof over my head. So yes, any decision I made when I left my dad home was mine. I knew what was right and I knew what was wrong, and I chose to do things right, and I chose some things to do wrong. Some of the things I should have died out there for doing the things I did, but I didn't. So I take my L's, my lessons, and I learn them, and I use them to be a better man. You know what? You know what's real funny? You read any book, and I'm a well-read individual. If you read any book about all these leaders, Elon Musk, Malcolm X, W.E.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, you know what's funny? 80% of every autobiography talks more about their failures than they talk about their successes. So this is what I'm trying to explain to men. Be the success. Don't be the statistic, rise above the statistic. What they say, a bark dog will holler. So if you're a woman and you single and you know that you can't talk, learn how to communicate. If Lawrence said it earlier, stop hanging around single women. Single women keep single women single. Because they hurt, they teach you hurt. I see it all on YouTube. So I say to any woman, if you really want to be married, go find these platforms where the married women are at and go learn something. If you don't want to be married, don't complain about it. So what is Uncle Stu's platform? I say it over and over and over again. It is to empower men and educate women on how to love the man they want to be with. Period.
Does that mean you think that a woman has a problem with loving the man that she wants to be with?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why.
I'm
gonna tell you why. Because if you don't love you, how can I love you? If you don't know you, how can I learn to love you? You got to learn to love yourself regardless of self. You're talking to a man that has married off 3 daughters all before the age of 30, and they're still married. You got to learn to love you, period. I have to know how to love me before I can invite somebody to say, I love you. Why? Because if you don't know how to love you, how can I love you? If you don't love you, how can I love you? Why? Because if
most people don't love themselves.
I don't want to hear about most people. I'm the individual. I don't want to hear about the most. I want those that says I'm not the most, I am. See, that's the other thing, and that's the strength of Uncle Stu. Uncle Stu don't want to talk to the world. He only want to talk to those that want to be transformed by the renewing of their mind and have their minds renewed. And that mind getting renewed will bring in the action, and the action is going to produce the results. I don't want to hear no more crying. I done heard the crying last year. I done heard everybody's pain last year. This year, I'm about the results. I'm not going to sit up here and keep hearing the complaint. 20% of my platform, give me your problem. But I got 80% of my life is going to be spent finding a solution. If you don't want my solution, fine. Keep going to somewhere else. But I am about the results. And I guarantee you, I will bust my batoogie to find results and to find answers. I'm not going to sit here and have everybody say, well, I ain't doing this. This is happening. My brother, tell me the problem. I'm going to go find the answer, and we're going to make it work. We're going to make it happen. So if you say to me, oh, well, how do you know people don't love themselves? I'm 54 years old. I know if somebody loves themselves. How I know?
No, I didn't say how. I think it's a poverty struggle.
No, it's not poverty, because I see this with wealthy women. I see this with middle-class women. And I see this with poor women. I see this with wealthy men. I see it with middle-class men. And I see it with poor men. Let me tell you something. Money doesn't determine the love you have for you. You want to know how I know I love me? Because I love my good, my bad, and my ugly. I love my weakness as well as I love my strength. When I come to you, I come fully with all of my weakness, and I come fully with all my strength. Because why? I recognize my weakness, because in the weak areas of me, there goes my God. Because my God says that in my weakness, he becomes my strength. When I know who I am, then I know the woman that I can bring into me. Why? Because the Bible is extremely clear. It says, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. My rib is supposed to be that which protects my inner being. It protects my heart. It protects my lungs. Those are the vital things that is happening on the inside of me. But I am not going to be out here looking for a knife. I am looking for a wife. And if a woman really understands how to love herself, then she understands how to love me. Because again, the Bible is clear. It says, submit yourself unto a man as you do unto the Lord. So how you treat your God is how you treat me. And how you treat a man is going to be how you treat me. So until you heal all of the broken areas in you, there is no way in the world you could tell me how to love you. What did Lauren say? Lauren said, I love me. How do I know? She says, listen, I'm the type of woman that you could just take me to a museum and I am happy. That's a woman that knows herself. You could do all the talking points around her. She knows who she is as an individual. What did she say? She said, listen, I know that I am this age and I want to be married by this time, and I am doing the work. I am hanging around Mosaic with TJ Washington. I am over there with Security Boss Unlimited. I'm hanging out with the married women. I'm getting an understanding of what married women do. I'm getting an understanding of how things is operating. I'm coming to the table with some knowledge and some skills. And she's even saying, I don't want to be out here doing this crazy labor, trying to be all that, the bag of chips. I'm not all that. Listen, if my man tell me, pack my bags up from Cali and bring me all the way to the East Coast, I'm out of here. How many black women is willing to give up their life when they know they got a man? So I'm going to tell every woman right now on this platform, I produce men. I don't produce boys. I produce results. I don't produce weakness. You'll never see in my chat anybody calling out 304s and Pookie and Ray Ray. I don't have those conversations. My conversation is about self-development. I can go to any man. I can say, bro, I know what it's like to be on drugs. I know what it's like to be an alcoholic. I know what it's like to have a marriage. I know what it's like to go through divorce. But damn it, I know what it's like to be saved, healed, sanctified, and doing the right thing. I know what it feels like when you got your mind together, your money together, and your life together. And you can sit back here and just say, yo, before the age of 50, bro, I got this. And I will teach you how to be what Uncle is and even better than Uncle ever was. Because my job is to make you a better man than me. I want you to have a better life than me. I want you to have a better relationship than me. I want you to have it all. If my kids only got to second grade, I want yours to make it to the 10th grade. If my kids only got a bachelor's, I want yours to get a master's. If my marriage only lasts 10 years, I want yours to last 20. If all I got is 5,000 subs, I want you to have 10K. Because if you take all of the mistakes that I've ever made in my life and not do them, you're going to be successful. That's why I said my platform ain't about no freaking talking points. I got life experience, and my life experience beat every single statistic. They told me at the age of 20, at the age of 18, that I would never make it to see 24. Why? Because they said because we was in this crack era, we wasn't supposed to make it out. But guess what? Me and my boys, we didn't even just make it out. We made it out. We survived it out. Some went to college, HBCU. Some went to an Ivy League school. Some went to the military. And you know what? We still here. So I don't believe in everybody's statistics. I am the man that rises above statistics. I'm sorry. Y'all just heard my vent. I apologize because this is supposed to be Lauren Melissa's show and not mine.
You are okay.
You was preaching.
Mm-hmm.
That's because that's love. I love my people. I know that this ain't a popular message.
Mm-hmm.
I know it ain't popular. I know everybody wants me to stay on this side, stay on the right side. But I gotta, at the end of the day, I gotta do what's right to develop people. I can have 1,000 subscribers. I can have 10,000 subscribers. Those are numbers. I speak with people. And every day I get on this platform, I don't look at numbers. I deal with people. When I'm in my comment section, I'm dealing with people, real people who's going through some real things in real life. They are. I know the stories. Thank you, Big Bad Bull. Salute to you. And if I didn't say it before, thank you, Perry Unlikely. Salute to you. I deal with real people who go through real life. And my job is to help you to get through that life by any and every means possible. It's okay to say you made mistakes. It's okay to say, hey, I had some broken relationships. It's okay as a woman to say, I didn't know. I'm Uncle Stu, the old man on the block, and I'm here to show you. And if I can't show you, I got some married women that'd be glad to talk to you.
Well, I already been married. I've been divorced for almost 9 years. You got me by 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
I know that went over a lot of people here.
Got you.
So I have children. I have family, lost family, all kinds of stuff. I've been through it myself.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm in a position where healing process. It's crazy people out here. You got to be careful who you deal with, become intimate with, because it could be a stalker, a psycho Sid, and stuff like that. Well, anyway, that's my personal issues. That's for another time. But
that's not a problem. And like I said, I understand that my Patreon is a little bit different. My Patreon is just like Lauren said, it is to have a closer access to me, but I'm also building that Patreon so that I can get the psychiatrists in there, so I can get the social workers in there, so that I can get people in there that are professional. See, I don't want to hear no more excuses about, we need mental health. We need mental health. We need mental. Okay, fine. I'm going out and I'm getting the mental health doctors.
And then when they get it, that's not what they need. But anyway.
How do you know?
Because we have to realize that we are all people. And no matter the degrees that we go to school and study for, we are still human, and we go home at night to our families and we deal with them accordingly as well as anyone else, no matter how much money you have. So the person that you sit down and you tell every last single one of your problems to, they actually have more than you. And it's mainly because they fail to get refilled at the end of the day. That's why they go crazy.
Can I ask you
all of these different personalities just coming into your spirit.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
When do we get selfish? And let me explain what I mean. Country Mama, I got your email and you will get a response. So I want you to know I did get your email. There's an area of life that I always say it's time to get selfish. And the getting selfish means if I know I need healing, if I know I need certain things, you know, I got to do what I got to do. But this is what I am going to do. I'll put it this way. I will probably setting up another live. Well, I got one tomorrow. I'm going to look at my calendar and I'm going to set up a live on the Q&A. And I'm going to be speaking on that Q&A. And when that Q&A is over and I invite people up, feel free to come up. If you feel you need to get in touch with me, just to say what you hear, because I don't want it to be a back and forth debate, write me an email. You can find me on my IG. And let's talk about it. Let's not make it so public.
Okay.
Because you're seeking something, and I want you to know I love you.
Right now, I seek the Lord a lot now.
Good.
But it's okay to talk to people. I would rather, at this particular point in my life, I would rather speak to like strangers. I don't have to worry about them going back and telling all of my first cousins and second cousins, third cousins, everything, So
Gotcha.
that's my standpoint. But yeah, it's good to converse, should I say.
Gotcha.
It will relieve some stress. But you cannot, who tells everyone everything,
I gotcha. So what I'm gonna do, because I want to thank Lauren for coming on this panel, for allowing me, and I'm hoping I can get her back in a couple months, because she like me, she be floating these YouTube streets, but she is most needed, most loved. But yes, I want to thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I did not know I was going to have all these superstars show up. YouTubers, but I hope that we came to some resolution. I hope we came to some understanding, and it's all out of love. And every day that I come up here, I learn something new. So one of the things that I could say that I learned from you is you're a woman of standards. And that's very hard to find for somebody that is your age and your background. And Uncle's still gonna be praying for his niece. Get you hooked up with that right man to get that ticket and get you out of that California.
Absolutely. Yeah. I appreciate you inviting me on.
Yes. And hang out with me for a few minutes in the back channel.
Okay.
My sister, I thank you because you didn't have to share what you shared and you didn't have to say what you said. And out of all of the places you could have been, you decided to hang out with me. And I don't take that lightly. Okay. I don't, like I said, I'd rather talk to the person, not to the talking point, if that makes sense.
It sure does.
All right. So you just stay right there. I'm about to close this down. And then, like I said, Lauren, just hang out with me in the back channel. To everybody in the chat, I hope that y'all been hitting that like button. I hope that you hit that subscribe button. I want everybody to really understand you are not a number to me. You are a human being. Hey, hit me up on my email. Hit me up in the comments. You heard something tonight and it triggered you. Hey, write down the trigger. Let's talk about it. If you feel something didn't go right, write it down. Let's talk about it. Anybody that knows me knows I'm going to communicate right back. Emails, IG, comments, leave it. Let's talk it over. Let's deal with it because I'm here. Remember, hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is Uncle Stu, the old man on the block. Love y'all. Peace. This is Uncle Stu, the old man on the block. Like, comment, share, and definitely subscribe. Emancipate your mind. Peace.